quite an exciting addition to the NXT women's roster. Not only have we got Sarray taking on Zoe Stark, but we've got a Kushida Open Challenge. We've got Kyle O'Reilly, who's going to be back from his war with Adam Cole. And we've also got LA Knight taking on Dexter Lumis. So we've got some interesting stuff going on. I actually thought last week's NXT was fairly strong. And hopefully they can keep that ball rolling. I think it is a big benefit, of course, them being on their own now, not going up against AEW. It means that we can just give it all of our attention. And as I said, I really enjoyed last week's show. So looking forward to this week, looking forward to seeing what they've got in store. And yeah, looks like a decent little card. I wish they would tell us more in advance, like AEW. AEW tend to give us a good 8 segments that already get announced, whereas with NXT it only tends to be about 4 or 5. But even so, you know, we've got the arrival of Sarray, we've got a Kushida Open Challenge, we've got a decent match between LA Knight and Dexter Lumis. I'm sure we're going to see Indi Hartwell getting involved there maybe, and Kyle O'Reilly returns as well. So, big shout out to everyone that's joining us. Big apology as well for yesterday. Obviously, we were in the middle of a stream yesterday, and the whole thing crashed, and there was literally nothing I could do about it. I spent an hour and a half trying to fix it, trying to get it to come back. It wasn't anything that was wrong this end. It was to do with the local mast. So completely out of my hands. So there was nothing I could do about that. I'm just grateful in a way that it didn't happen during WrestleMania or the build to WrestleMania, or it still sucks that it was Raw. It's still one of the biggest shows of the week. But yeah, I mean, I suppose I shouldn't be too down at missing a Raw. But at least whatever the issue was, it's been fixed, and hopefully fixed for good. So I do apologize for that, as we said, out of my hands. But yeah, it's been fine all day today, so I'm not expecting any issues. So everything should be fine from now on. I think the last thing I said, I had a lot of people saying that it ended on a cliffhanger yesterday. Apparently, we were talking about TV shows, and I said something along the lines of, yeah, there's a show that I wish I could get into, but I can't get into it. And apparently then it cut off, and everyone's like, what was the show? What was the show? The show was Seinfeld. So every time I look at best comedy shows, the top 100 best sitcoms, comedy shows of all time, Seinfeld is always either number 1 or number 2. It's always right up there. And there's been a few times that I've sat down and tried to watch it. I've tried to watch the first episode or just a random episode, and I've tried to get into it. I can't get into it. I don't know if it's because it's a bit dated now, maybe. The thing that gets me, though, the bit that I really struggle with is the bass. The boom, 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 boom. There's a little bass that's in between each scene, and boom, 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 boom. It's every scene. There's this little bass line that I don't know, bothers me. And I was saying yesterday, I think I was talking for a good few minutes before I realized the stream had gone down. But I was saying that Seinfeld I struggle with, and 24 as well. In between 24, each scene you get the beep, 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 beep in between all the scenes. So that was bugging me when I was trying to watch that as well. So yeah, that's the answer. If anyone wanted to or was wondering, I should imagine there's been thousands of people all over the world that just haven't slept. I would imagine there's people what was the show? What was the show that he can't get into? Are you all right, love? I can't sleep. I can't sleep. I need to know the show that Days just can't get into. Well, there we go. It's been answered now. It's been answered. I'll tell you one show I can get into, though. NXT. So, very much, as we said, looking forward to that tonight. James Chadwick, hello, my friend, said, I love watching Friends. It's a bit pervy, isn't it? What do you do? Sit on a bench whilst they're off, running around a field? What are you doing? Watching your friends, through their windows? What are you doing, eh? Do they know that you're watching them? Shout out to you, James. I love Friends, says Austin. Shame you haven't got any. Ah! Harry Richards Music said, Days, we have our football back. Yes, come on.
Richards Music is a legend.
Joaquin said, Days, will you stream Impact Rebellion? Yeah, I've had quite a few people asking for this. I think it's quite a big show, isn't it? Is it the one where Kenny's going to try to win the Impact title? As long as it doesn't clash with any other streams, like as long as it's not on at the same time as UFC or anything like this, then I'm down for that. So I'll have a look. I'll have a look into it. Harry Richards said, Dave's got our football back. Yes, this is obviously big news. So we did touch on this yesterday. So the news about football, we're not going to spend too long on it, but there has been a development. All falling apart, this new plan. So this new plan to have all these teams create this their own thing, all these teams are starting to pull out of it now because of the backlash, the severe backlash that these teams were facing. I got to say, when I was going to bed, it was all a bit up in the air, and then when I woke up, it was all falling apart. So great, brilliant. The only downside is the clubs that were gonna be a part of it, I think, have really ruined their images. I think Manchester United, the team that I support, just feels a bit dirty right now. Just feels, I don't really feel very proud to say I'm a Man United fan. And there's not many times I can say that's happened, but I can absolutely say it right now. So, I mean, I have been since the early 90s, and, I will continue to be, but, it all feels a bit dirty at the moment. So it's kind of like saying you're a fan of Raw. Do you know what I mean? It's exactly like that. If you go around saying you're a fan of Raw, even wrestling fans are going to go, give you a little weird little, is this person all right? And that's how it's like being a Man United fan right now. Robin said, Days, some facts about Sarray. She was signed at the beginning of 2020, but was stuck in Japan. She also had great matches in Miko Satomura's wrestling promotion, Sendai Girls. Shout out to you, Robin. I didn't know that she'd primarily wrestled in Sendai or had wrestled in Sendai. James Chadwick says all 6 clubs have now withdrawn from it. That's good. That's good. They announced that Sarray debut will be against Zoe Stark, says Lauren. Just Trini said, be careful, Days. Talking football got us no stream last night. Maybe you're right. Oh my God, do you think it was the powers that be that shut me down? Do you think people what do you think about this Super League? And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to say anything new. I'm against it. That's it. I got shut down. I bet it was Ed Woodward. I bet Ed Woodward shut me down, didn't he? Oh, it all makes sense now. It was the Glazers. The Glazers shut me down. Rick E245 says Impact Rebellion is on Sunday, Days. Right. Okay. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about that then, because we don't tend to do anything on a Sunday. I had a couple of videos that I needed to do last Sunday, which is why we didn't stream. I had a mystery box that arrived, and that obviously turned out to be those UFC figures. And a big thank you to everyone that checked out that video. I've had some really good feedback on it. It was a bit weird to do a figure video again, and certainly one like that where I didn't even know what was in the box. But it was nice to do a figure video again. I really had to think about, where am I doing it? How am I doing it? Am I going to be on camera? Do I need to be on camera? I could do it sitting here. I could do it over by the bookcases with the figures on. In the end, I just kind of kept it simple and did it in a slightly new space, which is just very plain. But I think it looked a bit better for it. So yeah, it was kind of interesting to try and think about those things again. It's so weird when you do YouTube and stuff like this. I mean, with these kind of streams, it's just literally turn on.
Uribe is a legend.
Obviously, you know, hours of research go into these streams. But pretty much turn on and off we go. So it was a bit weird to think about, like, something different. So, yeah, it was kind of cool. So big shout out to everyone that's checked that out. So I was having to really think about all that stuff on Sunday. So, yeah, I should be free on Sunday. Super League is in the mud. Dave in real life says FSG out. Yes, I don't know what that is. Is that like PSG? Are they the ones that own Liverpool? I've got a feeling that they might be. Shout out to Michael. Hope you are well. Zykami said, Days, would you put Nikki Cross back to NXT or put her in a feud with Alexa Bliss as her crazy gimmick? Now, I said this. I know many of you obviously didn't stick around. We did keep the stream going, and I was still like chatting away where I could. But yeah, I said this whilst like typing in that there's something about the Alexa Bliss character I really like. So I loved the pictures that they'd altered. I thought that was brilliant. So the fact that they'd put the doll in these pictures, I can't tell. Honestly, I can't tell if they're actual pictures of Alexa that they've added the doll to. I think it's that. Or if they've got like some kids that look like Alexa and they've taken the pictures earlier today or something using an old camera. I think it's actual pictures of Alexa that they've then added the doll into, right? Either way, brilliant. Love it. Gives it real background and I love that. I think it's fantastic. The only thing I would say is we've seen Alexa for a long time where she's been normal and everything's been fine and there's been no signs of this kind of darker side of her or that she thinks this doll is talking to her. There's been no mention of Lily. There's been nothing. So it's very much like the accent that Apollo's going around with now. Do you know what I mean? It's like that Apollo character would be great for someone else if we hadn't already seen Apollo running around for a few years without an accent. Now he's running around with an accent. You can kind of buy it. I think like people are kind of into it. But it's just taking a bit of time to adjust, isn't it? It's just taking a little bit of time of getting used to. I kind of feel the same way with this Alexa character. So Alexa's been absolutely fine. And now all of a sudden she's telling us that, well, she was bad as a kid. She had this doll that told her to do things. And now we've been introduced to this doll and it's like, I don't know. Just seems like this is perfect for someone else. This is perfect for someone in NXT that we haven't seen before to give them this gimmick. So there was nothing apart from the stupid doll moving its mouth and snapping at the end, which I just don't need. I mean, honestly, I think it's scarier. It is scarier if the camera just focused on the doll and the doll didn't do anything, rather than having it doing like CGI, like giggling or whatever and snapping its mouth and moving its head. But apart from that, which is stupid, the idea that there's this dark, again, it's psychology, isn't it? I love that. I love the dark, twisted psychology with all of this stuff. So, but again, I have to look at it and go, right, well, this is an Alexa that's managed to make a rocking horse appear during a match, change attires during a match, managed to make Randy Orton throw up black goo several weeks in a row on command, throw fireballs and blah, 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 blah. So I have to look at all of that and just think, should I get my hopes up for this story? Probably not. Probably not. I would much rather this was someone different. I'd much rather this wasn't Alexa. It wasn't, potentially going to go too far, and that it was like someone that was twisted. Like, imagine if this was Nikki Cross that just arrived. We'd never seen her before. She came in, new arrival to the main roster, and she's just backstage, on a swing. Not a kid's swing that's got like bright colours, but it's all quite dark. Or maybe she's like outside in a playground at night, rocking back and forth, and then like next to her you see a swing that's not moving and it's got a doll on, and that's week 1. And then week 2 she tells you that the doll's called Lily. Week 3 She gives you the backstory and actually shows you some pictures, out of her bag or something that's and like this. It's the arrival of this new twisted character. I'd love that. What I said on Twitter, this story is promising, but ultimately it's stupid because it's got promise. If you give it to someone else, it's really promising. And it might still work with Alexa, but it's going to go too far. It's going to go too far, and they're going to ruin it. I look at the backlash against the Fiend. I mean, I don't worry about saying that now. I said it in the past where there's a backlash starting against the Fiend. I've even said it on Twitter. It looks like the backlash has begun, and people were shooting me down. I'm sorry, but I was proved right. Like, there was and is a backlash against the Fiend because, for me, I think it did go too far. And I understand there's still a lot of people that are on board with it, and that's fine, right? I do have to say that's fine. We all like what we like, so that's fine. But I think even Fiend fans would admit there's been a backlash against the Fiend, right? Because, for me, it went too far. And my worry is they're going to do this exact same thing with Alexa. They've got a nice opportunity. I wish it was someone different. Let's see what they do with it. So that was my thoughts on that. That was probably one of the biggest talking points coming out of Raw. Honestly, the rest of the show that I saw, it seemed a bit drab. I can't really give you much of a score for Raw because I missed the first half of it because I was trying to get the stream up and running. And then the second half, I was kind of watching and chatting in the chat that was still going. So from what I saw, it just seemed very, I don't know, didn't kind of set the world on fire kind of a thing. So, we'll have to see what NXT has got for us. But once again, I think it's going to be a low bar for NXT to emerge as the best show of the week. It's either going to be NXT or SmackDown. I'm not AEW for me, just seems to be a step behind at the moment as well, but that's a different story for a different time. Edward says, "Hi, Uncle Days. How are you? Has your internet been fixed?" It has, yes. It was down pretty much for the rest of the night. It was really weird, though, because I was getting like 2 meg. Obviously, to stream, you need much more. So I was getting enough whereby I could still go on the internet. I could browse and I could chat, but I couldn't stream. It wasn't strong enough to stream. It's back now anyway. We're back. We're up and running. William said, "I'm intrigued by Lex's character. I just hope she does some actual matches without smoke and mirrors. Make her super strong, that's okay. Make her fast, that's okay. But no teleporting." James Chadwick said, "Raw managed to get 1.9 million. That's not too bad, is it? In all fairness, that's not too bad. Weren't they about 1.7 or something the week before? I know they keep hovering around the 2 million mark, but they seem to be quite consistently underneath it. So to get 1.9, I don't think that's a problem, to be honest." Laurie said, "Days, Roman and Corbin are hitting each other on Twitter." Okay. It's a bit weird considering they're both heels. Robin said, "Days, who will answer Kushida's open challenge? I think a new star we haven't seen will answer." I don't know. I don't know what new stars there are that they've got ready, to be honest. I mean, it might turn out to be someone like Tyler Rust or someone like this that's you don't really think of. Honestly, I don't know. When it comes to NXT, I think it's a little bit tricky because they do have some talent, but there's a lot of names that I'm not aware of. I certainly wouldn't be expecting anyone like that, Parker Bordeaux, or anyone like this, because he needs a lot of time. He hasn't done any wrestling, and I know there's a lot of excitement around him. If you haven't seen his, he calls himself the Destroyer of Gods, which I really love, and he looks great. Just looks a little bit too clean shaven. He looks a little bit like he's 12 in the face. Either 12 or he belongs in like a ladies' prison. So it kind of needs to rough up his face a little bit. Like, he could probably do getting punched in the face a few times. I mean, certainly not by me. But Parker Bordeaux is, very promising for the future. So I don't think it'd be someone like him. Honestly, I think you're probably looking at a Tyler Rust, Leon Ruff, someone along those lines. I hope it's Ben Carter, says James Chadwick. He's up and running in NXT UK, isn't he? He's got a new name now. I can't remember what his new name is, but I don't know. I'd be surprised if they've brought him over for that. Lauren said, you're speaking over the voiceover woman. You've missed a couple of super chats, did I? Let's have a look. Oh, yes. William said, I enjoyed myself. It was awesome having you host from the chats. Shout out to you, William. And Hayden said, Days, I missed you yesterday. It was weird watching Raw without you. I'm glad your internet is back. How are you today? I'm good. Yeah, I'm good. Obviously, disappointing that we weren't around yesterday. And, it's just one of those things, isn't it? You put it behind you, you move on. But, I think it's so frustrating when it's out of your hands. Like, if it's something that I could do, I would have done it. I tried to do it. And it's just like, when there's nothing you can do. Obviously, we stream in the middle of the night, so there's no one to call. Do you know what I mean? There's no one that can. If anyone's going to go and fix it, they're going to do it in the morning, aren't they? And then clearly they did. So, just frustrating, but, one of those things. Other than that, yeah, fine, good. I don't know, kind of refreshing to skip out on a little bit of Raw, to be honest. I caught the end of it, but I didn't watch all of it. So I can't really sit here and talk about Raw, to be perfectly honest. I mean, I saw that Charlotte beat up the officials at the end, and I saw that she got suspended. Obviously, that's all in storyline. I had quite a few people getting in touch with me, like, shocked that she'd been suspended. So I think it has worked doing that for, certain people out there that probably think she is really suspended and has really been fined. So that's cool, I'm not against that. I think part of the problem for me, and I know others struggle with this as well, is I wish that online, on Twitter and whatever, the superstars were in character. I think that's so important because you've got WWE putting out these kind of storyline thing, It's so weird, isn't it? Because when they let someone go, and they really let someone go, they obviously tweet about it. But then when there's a storyline and they've suspended Charlotte, then they tweet about that as well. So you kind of have to look at it and go, work out for yourself what's real, what's not real, like what's storyline and what. It's very strange. But I think when it comes to like the superstars very much should stay in character. I think if they want to tweet as themselves, they should probably just get personal profiles, under their own names. I think if the name is the name of the character, then that is the character's Twitter account. So I would argue that they should very much stay in character online. So, kind of, that's a whole different conversation. I've had people talking to me about that. When I saw that your stream was only 40-odd minutes long, I thought you was taken down again. No. Wi-Fi issues. Did you hear about the European Super League? I did. I heard about it, and then I heard that it was dead. I haven't heard what's happening to the Spanish and the Italian teams. So I don't know what's happening to Real and Barcelona and Inter and, I don't know what's happening there. I just know that the 6 English teams have left. I mean, you would imagine now the 6 English teams are out. That's it. It's a mess, innit? It's a real mess because that they've been working on this for a while behind the scenes. So for it to crash and burn after like 24 hours, 48 hours, it's a mess. I mean, Ed Woodward of Man United has gone, which is great because I don't think anyone was a fan of him. I do think from a business point of view, he was all right, though. I will say that. I kind of feel he's a bit like Vince. Ed Woodward is very much like Vince McMahon. Ed Woodward, I think, is a very good businessman. But when it comes to actual performance on the pitch and getting in the right people and using them the right way, he was awful. And I think that's very similar to Vince. Now, I'm not sure that Vince, is doing that great of a job creatively. And that's like Ed Woodward. But behind the scenes, business-wise, I think they were both very good. So, I don't know. I'm kind of a bit torn about Woodward leaving. I suppose I'm more happy than sad. And certainly happy considering his involvement in this stupid Super League. So, I have heard about it. I'm glad that it's dead. And we can try and move on. But I think that's going to be a bumpy road, to be honest. And as I said earlier, I'm not too proud sitting here as a Man United fan. Brad G said, Days, did you see the video of Abaddon tasting Oreos on the Bunnies YouTube? It's hilarious. I have not, no. But that does remind me that I did just see a video of Bianca making her WrestleMania costume. I only managed to catch the first couple of minutes because it was literally just before we started. So I did see that video, and it's kind of interesting. Like, she recorded it all. She records her going to the shop to buy it. She records her in the shop buying the fabric. Then she records herself at home as she's making it in February. So she talks about the ring gear. Doesn't seem like the ring attire is really chosen for anything other than the fact it's very reflective and sparkly and shimmery and all that kind of stuff. So I haven't watched it all, but I don't think there's any hidden meanings in the gear. But it's very interesting watching her go about actually making it. She shows you the shop she gets it from, like the fabric from, and she shows you her cutting it out, and it's really good, man. Yeah, it's really good. Because like she said, she hasn't got templates. She has to use her old gear to kind of cut around her old gear to get the shapes for the fabric that she needs. So I thought that was kind of interesting. So yeah, that was good. So yeah, well, that sounds interesting as well. Abaddon tasting Oreos. I had back headache, fell asleep before Raw, says Chris Wrestling Views. Days, but I watched it and I did a little review on it. Shout out to you, bud. Oscar said, Days, what is your favorite championship belt at the moment? Probably NXT UK. So I've always loved that belt. I think I love it even more because of the way that it's been treated. So I think just visually the belt is stunning. But I also think that the way the belt is treated is very important. Like, if it feels prestigious, then I think the belt looks and feels prestigious as well. If you've got a belt that's changing hands every few seconds, it could be the best design in the world, but if it doesn't mean anything, then it's hard to love it. Whereas with NXT UK, that belt has been going since 2017. So that's 4 years. It's had 3 people hold it. It's had 2 of the longest reigns in recent history with Pete Dunne and obviously now Volta. Some of the matches that it's been involved in are legit some of the best matches WWE have been putting on. I mean, that belt not only looks stunning, but is responsible for some of the best wrestling as well. And it's had some of the best wrestlers hold it. So I think it all adds to the title. I think that title, I just hope they just keep doing, don't change anything. Just keep doing what you're doing, because the way that title has been booked, I think has been perfect. I don't think you could have booked it any better. I think having Tyler Bate win the first tournament was perfect because he's, young kid who was 19 at the time. He's still only about 23 now. I mean, scary to think that he's still got 20-odd years ahead of him. Like, anyone thinking Tyler Bate is done or washed up, forget it. He's still got 20-odd years ahead of him. So Tyler Bate, winning that first one, made a star. Someone that was still waiting for them to pull the trigger on, really. I mean, Tyler Bate could be in NXT right now quite comfortably, tearing it up, having matches with Johnny Gargano, and, I don't know when they're going to do it, but I'm sure they will. So, him winning it first was great. Pete Dunne, what a reign he had, the bruiserweight. I wish, actually, they would go back to that. Now he's, jacked, and he's got, a fake tan kind of a thing going on, and he's hanging around with Oney, Lorcan, and Danny Burch. Doesn't feel as good. Like to me, he was always a lone wolf. To me, he was always someone that was out on his own. And if ever he was going to join up forces with anyone, it would be with Tyler Bate and it would be with Trent Seven. So him being like with Oney, Lorcan, Danny Burch, and especially Pat McCarthy, just it doesn't feel right to me. I really struggle with that. I kind of wish that he was still badass on his own. Do you know what I mean? That it was kind of like he was, I don't know what a vigilante. He was out on his own. He was kind of like a Dean Ambrose, you know, out on his own. But he would join forces with a couple of people, but he wasn't joining forces with everyone. You know, Dean Ambrose out on his own, but he'd join up with Roman and Seth to form the Shield. And you kind of look at Pete Dunne and you go, out on his own, but he would join up with Trent Seven and Tyler Bate. That's kind of like the UK's version of the Shield, British strong style. So, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't feel the same for Pete Dunne right now, but his run when he had the belt was insane. And, well, I mean, Volta might just be the best wrestler in the world right now. So, yeah, it's brilliant. I love that belt. Daniel said, were you taken back by AEW's ratings last week? I remember you saying 1 million would be great for them. Yeah, I stand by it. 1 million definitely is great for them. They've been down at like 750. So you look at it. I looked at it and thought, right, 750 is where we are. That tends to be where we've been. And actually, the week before, I think they were down in the 600s. So you look at that and you go, okay, I reckon it's fair to say they'll pick up 200,000. So let's say they get 750. I erred on the side of caution. Let's say that they're at 750. They pick up 200,000. That takes them to 950. And let's err on the side of caution. So let's say 925. So that's where I was. I was like, I'm expecting 925, 950. It'll be big if they get 1 million and they get 1.2. I mean, it's huge. It's huge. There's no other way you can carve it up. It's a huge number. I mean, it was literally just the other week they got 650. So that means that in the space of like a week or so, they nearly doubled their rating. That's like Raw getting 3.8 million 1 week. Because right now they're 1.9. So incredible number. There's no way it stays there. No way. It's way too high. Way too high. So there's no way it's going to stay there, but still they got a big, big number. So maybe this week it'll start to come down towards 1 million and perhaps they'll settle at 1 million. I think the first week people were potentially checking it out to see what they'd been missing out on, see what the hype was all about. Maybe Tyson was a draw, but I'm not sure. Be very interesting to look at like a detailed breakdown, but yeah, huge number, way above what I was expecting. I'll quite happily hold my hands up to that. I don't know if anyone was expecting a number that high, so they did very, very well. Tatiana Wrestling said, I feel like NXT UK Prelude was overshadowed by WrestleMania and TakeOver. It was. NXT in general is just heavenly overshadowed by Raw, SmackDown, NXT. I feel some light needs to be shed onto the superstars there. Well, they could do a lot more, couldn't they? And maybe they will once we come out of the pandemic. I mean, there is still issues in regards to travel. It doesn't stop them from promoting it more and putting ads out more and building up big matches more. You know, I mean, they could shout more about Miko. They could shout more about Volta. But make no mistake about it, seeing Volta recently is going to be a boost to that brand. And obviously Miko joining is going to be a boost. And Amelia McKenzie returning is going to be a nice little boost. Obviously, they signed Ben Carter as well. So there's definitely things happening with NXT UK. Don't think it's a dead brand, because it absolutely isn't. But, yeah, it definitely needs a bit of hype around it. I completely agree. But I'm not sure that NXT UK Prelude was really meant to be anything more than just a special episode. Because we watched it, And it was literally just the weekly show. It was just the weekly show, but with, big matches on. It wasn't like a special. It wasn't like a takeover or anything. So hopefully we do get an NXT UK takeover soon, and then they can start promoting that. The Jericho-Dax match peaked at 1.4, and of course, Tyson was ringside for that match, says Daniel. Jason said WWE should send some wrestlers from catering to NXT UK for Volta. That's not a bad shout. I mean, you probably would need to be... I don't even know who's in catering now. I mean, like, just trying to think. I think they got rid of 10 wrestlers, of course, from the main roster. So I'm not sure who we don't see anymore, to be perfectly honest. Kind of feels like they're using a lot of people now. I suppose Jinder. Where's Jinder? I think he's still out injured, isn't he? But didn't we see him at that Superstar Spectacle? I'm sure he was part of that show. So where is he? Where's Jinder? So, I don't know. I think that's a fair question. Where's Jinder Mahal? So he could be quite interesting. Edward Brown said, Days, what's your thoughts on Kross wanting to retire John Cena? Don't know. I can't say I've heard that news, to be honest, but does John Cena want to retire? I mean, it's all well and good saying that he wants to retire people, but if they don't want to retire, then it's not going to happen, is it? So, I don't know. I don't know. I don't really know where Cena is, to be perfectly honest. I know that he's at Hollywood, and I know he's doing stuff over there, but who's to say that he doesn't still want to do, like, the odd match every now and again? So, if that is the case, then Karrion Kross isn't going to be retiring him. NXT UK is definitely not to be slept on. Its female division is as good as any, says Dave in real life. Hayden says, I love Volta. Tatiana Wrestling says, I'm sure you've been asked, but what do you think about the BSS with Chris Jericho? I don't know what that means. The BSS. The BSS. What does that stand for? I'm trying to think. Has anyone joined Chris Jericho? Or have you put an extra S and you mean the BS with Chris Jericho? Because if there is any BS with Chris Jericho, what's that? Because that tends to change on a regular basis. So give me a bit more info on that. I'll give you an answer. Jim said Jinder was at WrestleMania. He was just behind Vince, and he was even dressed to compete. Shout out to you, Jim. Just Trini said, I like the idea. I think that John does too. He reposted Kross on his Instagram and said that he admires him on Twitter. James Chadwick said Cena's already had his last match, but we just couldn't see it. Right, shout out. Brian, shout out to you. Lauren, shout out to you. BSS, Broken Skull Sessions. What did I think about Jericho on that? To be honest, I haven't watched it all. I haven't gone back and watched it. I managed to catch like the second part of it, and then I read the rest. So what was my thoughts on it? They definitely mentioned AEW more than I thought. And I mean, honestly, I was expecting it to be mentioned, because how could you not? If you're going to bring Jericho on, I thought at the end you're going to have to talk about him joining AEW, and it's going to be a little thing, and the rest of it will be about his career. They actually speak about it at the start as well, which I wasn't expecting. They allowed Jericho to really put over AEW about how it's, starting up, and there's all this talent that was, their contracts were ending around the same time, and they figured out they could create something special. And I was kind of watching it thinking, how did Vince sign this off? Like, it did catch me by surprise. So much more than I was expecting for AEW, but let's be realistic. It's a 2-hour show. There's not tons of AEW stuff in there. It does obviously focus on his career, but still more AEW than I was expecting. And then it goes through, obviously, his career and kind of key points, and it was good. Some really interesting stuff. I mean, it pretty much, other than the AEW stuff, felt very much like a Broken Skull Sessions, whereby they go through the history, talk about, some behind the scenes stuff. It's definitely worth a watch. Definitely worth a watch. It was a really good episode. Learned a few things. I don't know. It's one of those things that you watch, you think it's really good, and then you move on from it, to be honest. I don't know there was anything there that blew my mind or, really changed the way I think about wrestling or explained anything that I didn't know before. So I don't know there was anything groundbreaking, to be perfectly honest, but take nothing away from it. I mean, still a very, very good episode of Broken Skull Sessions. So if you've not seen it, definitely check it out. I thought it was very good. Very, very good. One very glaring omission in the talent he mentioned was Moxley. I think Vince wouldn't let him mention Moxley. Days, are you going to be streaming Tyson Fury AJ boxing? Yes. Stone Cold should try to get Kenny on the Broken Skull Session, says Jim. Well, I mean, before I would have said impossible. And to be honest, I would still lean to impossible. But who knows what's possible now. The reason I say impossible is because I think the Broken Skull Sessions is there for them to show the history of WWE and use WWE footage and use it kind of in a way to advertise past pay-per-views and give a bit of backstory on WWE superstars. Kenny's not going to be able to do that. All your footage for Kenny is going to be New Japan, obviously AEW. It doesn't really connect with WWE very well. He was in their developmental for a short time, and I'm sure he can talk about the many times they've approached him and tried to get him to join, but I don't know that they're going to get enough from it, to be honest. Really, it's just going to advertise New Japan and AEW, isn't it? So that would be, if Vince signs that one off, then I really don't know what's going on. So I'd have to lean towards that being unlikely still, but who knows? I just started watching AEW. Can you tell me who your favorite superstars are? To be perfectly honest, that's one of my problems with AEW. I don't really have anyone that I'm crazy for. I have people that I appreciate, and I have people that I think are really good, but I don't know there's anyone I'm crazy for. I mean, I really like Thunder Rosa, but Thunder Rosa is sort of in NWA. She hasn't really signed to AEW yet, and they haven't really got her going. She's doing something with Britt Baker that had a big match the other week, but yeah, I mean, we haven't really got much in the way of a backstory, or do you know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like I like Thunder Rosa because of NWA, not because of AEW. I think Omega's doing some good stuff with Don Callis, so I am into that. I am into Kenny. Darby's all right, but I'm not crazy for him. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I go down the list, and I think that's part of my problem with AEW. There's no one that I'm like, yeah, I can't wait to watch them, you know? With NXT, I suppose in a way, it's a bit similar. There's not many that I'm crazy for in NXT, to be perfectly honest. I really like Zoe Stark. So I'm on board with her. I mean, I'm getting into The Way. I do think The Way are quite funny, and I am looking forward to seeing them tonight. So I'm into Zoe. I'm into The Way. Obviously, Volta, whenever they use Volta. So I suppose there's a bit there. Finn Balor's cool. So, yeah. I don't know. I think that might be my problem across all of wrestling, to be honest. There's not loads of wrestlers that I'm crazy for right now. So they need to step it up. They need to get my attention, and they need to show me why I should be a fan. Exactly like Volta has done. Exactly like Volta has done. Give me a reason to be a fan. It makes me mad that you can't fast forward live TV on Peacock. I heard rumors that's something they're looking to change, and those are features they are looking to bring in. So I don't know. Stick with it. Stick with it, because they are obviously going to have the whole of the network on there by SummerSlam. And I heard rumors that they are looking at bringing those features in. Mark my words, Thunder Rosa will appear at WWE pay-per-view, says William. Tatiana said, I love the way. Yeah, they're cool. They're cool. I'm into them. I think they're doing some really fun stuff. I think Austin Theory plays that role really well. I think Indi Hartwell and her little relationship she's got with Dexter Lumis has been good. I think it's been really fun. Habib said Messi or Ronaldo. Well, I'm a Man U fan, so I'd say Ronaldo. I do obviously really appreciate Messi, and could be an argument that Messi is the better player. But I think Ronaldo has done it with Portugal. I think he's done it at different clubs. I think he is someone that has been very consistent as well as Messi. But I think, yeah, Ronaldo is just, for me, the one. Mainly because of his history with United. Miro could be a huge star if they would let him loose and let him be more like the Bulgarian brute. Yep, BP, good comment. I did wonder if they were purposely holding him back. I did wonder if they brought him in to be a bit rubbish so that when they turn him into the monster, it's a big moment. If you bring him in as the monster straight away, then you can't really do much with him other than just book him as the monster. Whereas if you bring him in as like a bit lame, a little bit rubbish, and then turn him, then at least you're going to get that moment where it's like, they're pulling the trigger on him now. If they have done that, that's actually quite clever. But I don't know if they are that clever. I don't know. I still can't tell if they've either completely botched him, right? They've completely messed him up, or they're really clever and they're saving that turn. They're saving the moment for when they turn him into the Bulgarian brute. And when they do, it's going to be awesome. When they do, I mean, I suppose in a way there's been a few signs of it. So we'll have to see. So it could be genius or it could be idiotic. Jim Gore said, I want to see an Impact invasion of AEW, mainly for Rosemary Ali confrontation. Edward Brown said, when will the next member stream be? Thursday. We always do it on a Thursday. Robin813 said, Days, would Parker Boudreaux be good in the way? He could learn a lot from Gargano. Wow, I mean, I kind of feel like... no. I kind of feel like he is someone that's going to be the next Brock Lesnar. So really, would Brock Lesnar be good in the way? You'd have to say no. I kind of feel that he doesn't need to be around that kind of comedy. Like, really, he needs to just establish himself as, you know, this killer. But honestly, I wouldn't expect Parker Boudreaux in 2021. It's going to take him a long time to learn the basics and get comfortable with those. And, you know, he's got no amateur background as far as I know. So there's no point him having this great look and this great physique and him looking like he does. And then the bell rings and he just can't do it. The thing with Brock does not get anywhere near the credit he deserves for his matches. Like, Brock Lesnar knows how to act like the beast. He knows, like, the little smirks. You know, I think it helps the fact he genuinely doesn't like people. But the little smirks and the little things he does. But then, like, you know, when he's, you know, rolling his shoulders and he's flexing his chest and everything, and he's like, and he looks like a beast. And then he's like hitting German after German and just big power moves. And the way he sells as well. He doesn't have to do it often, but when he does, he sells very well. He's got good psychology, Brock Lesnar. There's a lot that Brock Lesnar does that like goes under the radar, mainly because, you know, he tends to win a lot of his matches, and there's a lot of people that obviously don't like him. But there's a lot for Parker Boudreaux to learn. A lot for him to learn. And I wouldn't expect him anytime soon. I don't even know if there'll be a way by the time he actually gets going. So, Karrion Kross, Volta, Bray are the wrestlers that excite me, says Brony. Mara Luke passes gone home. Most NHL games played. Brendan, shout out to you. Austin hello, says, I wish Brock would wrestle more rather than just do suplexes. Grant Jameson said, I would like to see Samoa Joe in AEW, but it would be really cool to see him go back to Ring of Honor. Tatiana said, I love the comedic, talented wrestlers, but don't turn someone that's got potential to be a monster into a joke. Yeah, I mean, if you think Brock was doing a bit of comedy stuff with Kurt, wasn't he? So even Brock has, done a bit of comedy, and Brock Party, where he had the Money in the Bank thing and he was dancing around to that and whatever. But he was established, firmly established as a monster, as a beast by the time he was doing that kind of stuff. So I would bring him in, have him destroy everyone. Then once he's established, you can look at doing like a little comedy with him. But comedy in the same way that like Drake Maverick and Killian Dane do comedy. So like Drake Maverick is the little annoying scrappy do, if you will. And Killian Dane is like the cool one. And he's like just watching as Drake's running around being an idiot. You'd do something like that with Parker Bordeaux, wouldn't you? You'd have him be the cool one. You'd put someone like Johnny with him, doing like silly stuff around as Parker Bordeaux is just kind of staring at him like, what's this guy doing? But you'd want to establish him first, so. Days, Enzo and Big Cass should go to AEW. Austin said Brock can do anything and still look like a monster. LSW said Brock is the best big man in wrestling, in my opinion. Bronson Steiner, which is Rick's son, is said to be as big as an up-and-coming star as Parker. I don't know anything about Bronson Steiner, to be honest. I haven't seen him. Or I might have seen a picture of him. So didn't he get signed as well? But I can't remember what he looks like. So and I don't even know like his background. I don't know if he's been wrestling. I don't know how close he is to starting. So he'll be one to keep an eye on, definitely. So good shout. Tatiana said, do you agree that R-Truth deserves a world title run at least once? He's had a world title run. He was champion in TNA, was it? I'm sure he's a former NWA world champion. So he's had a title run. He's not had one in WWE. And to be honest, I'm not sure that I would give him one. I kind of think there's a lot of people ahead of him that probably deserve it as much. I mean, it's hard to say more, but I just think that he's a different kind of character, isn't he? R-Truth is a comedy character, so to see him win the big championship would be a little bit strange. So, I don't know. I kind of think the way they're using him is absolutely fine. What has happened to AJ and Omos? We've not seen them since WrestleMania. Is it COVID protocols? Haven't seen anything to say that, so I can't say. I have no idea. Perhaps they just don't have anything for them. Or perhaps it is like COVID protocols. It's been a couple of weeks, hasn't it? So either way, even if it is COVID protocols, I think there's a good chance that you'll see them next week. Austin said, Days, imagine Billie Kay goes to AEW, starts doing her resume gimmick. There's a good chance they'll put it on the shop there. That would be good. I'd be into that. That would definitely give me someone to look forward to watching on a Wednesday. Not that I'm down on AEW. They've definitely got stars that, are cool, and I do enjoy their segments. But, yeah, Billie Kay, man, I do love her. And I thought what she was doing was really working. And you've seen the backlash, You've seen people on Twitter calling out Kevin Dunn and, saying that they want her back. I would say people were as upset about Billie Kay going as they were Samoa Joe. I don't think that's unfair. I think she was getting a lot of love, which was good to see. Shows that she was on the right path with that, resume thing. And it was working. It was working. If Enzo and Cass do go to AEW, you probably won't see the same Enzo you saw, because in an interview, Enzo said the only place we'd see the established Enzo Amores on WWE programming. R-Truth has had more than 50 title wins in WWE, says Grant. JP said, I think Parker is a tad overrated. Will he be a success or a flop? Only time will tell. Well, I mean, I'm only judging him on his look, and his look is incredible. He has got great physique for his age, and he does look very, very good. I've said, and I'll keep saying, I think that his face is too boyish. He definitely needs to get some facial hair, or needs to get it scuffed up a little bit. It looks like he's never been punched, and maybe he hasn't. Maybe he's never been in a fight, but I'd find that hard to believe. So I there's a few things that I definitely want to change with his look, but his body, his physique is incredible. But honestly, you're absolutely right. You can't judge him on any more than that, because wrestling-wise, as far as I know, he's got no experience. I am sad that Samoa Joe was released. He was good on commentary. Is Io Shirai staying for a while in NXT after losing the belt to Raquel? Well, we did expect her to move up, but there was no call-ups at WrestleMania or the week after WrestleMania or last night. There was no call-ups last night. So it's not as if Io has been, brought up to help Asuka or anything like this. Now, they could be waiting a little while. So it could be a case that we're just not going to pull the trigger yet on calling her up. Hard to know where she goes now, though, or what she does now, because she could go back after Raquel Gonzalez. But I don't know. I think there's so many other options for Raquel Gonzalez that Io just seems a little bit lost. Certainly if there's not going to be anything for her on the main roster. Seems like the Kyle O'Reilly, Adam Cole feud's going to continue. I am expecting to see Adam Cole tonight. I don't know about Io. Although, what if Sarray beats Zoe Stark, as she should, and then Io comes out and we build towards Sarray versus Io Shirai? I mean, that might be a fun little match. Io welcoming
they donated
Sarray.
$1.99 via a super chat. Days, who do you think Kross will lose to?
Who do I think Kross will lose to? Hard to say, to be honest. I could see him holding it for a while, because I think once he loses it, surely he gets called up. So I wouldn't expect him to lose it for maybe the rest of 2021. Because I think they all look to call him up, but maybe they'll call him up as part of the Superstar Shakeup in November. It tends to be right at the end of the year. So if they are going to call him up, maybe it'll be around then. So it's going to be a long time that I think he'll hold that belt. So I don't know who's going to be around at that point. It could be Austin Theory that beats him. Could be Bronson Reed. Could be Dexter Lumis. I mean, could be any of these people. But I don't know who they'll pull the trigger on. It could be Kyle O'Reilly, couldn't it? It could be they decide that Kyle O'Reilly is, it's his time. So they've got lots of options. Lots of options. But I wouldn't expect it anytime soon. I reckon you're looking November at the earliest, and maybe even 2022. Right, we are up and running. We are NXT, says Jason. New intro. Not a big fan of it, to be honest. That new intro. Not the biggest fan of this kind of new logo. I mean, the logo's largely the same, like the NXT lettering, but it's just got a bit of a new background, hasn't it? Right, we're starting with Kyle O'Reilly. Okay, so Kyle O'Reilly is here. Yeah, I mean, I can't believe that he's walking down either. I don't know that I'd have him do that, to be perfectly honest. I don't know that I'd have him so casually walking down to the ring like this, but... Going Ghost, shout out to you, my friend. Dude, you didn't need to be so kind in donating $20. It's very much appreciated, of course. But I'll pass that on to the local people that fixed my Wi-Fi mast as a tip. But shout out to you, dude. Really appreciate the support. Is she going to read this out? Apparently, I keep talking over her, so...
Going Ghost is a legend.
Yes.
They donated $20 via a super chat. Do you think IU got popular because fans got tired of WWE dominating and RU was something different? RU's last week was a little weak. I hope they don't fall off just because they...
Yes, I do. I think WWE... I don't think it's because WWE got dominant. I think it's because WWE got stale and declined, and people that want wrestling and people that want less of the Vince comedy, and they want an alternative, went to AEW.
They donated $5 via a super chat. Day's better question: who do you think Kross will successfully defend against first?
That is a good question. Well, we Luke Walker, we might get an answer on that very, very soon. Kyle O'Reilly said Adam Cole is behind him. I'm wondering if Kyle's going to go after the big title again. He's such a bad promo. It's such a bad promo. It could be Kyle. Who else could it be? It could be a rematch against Finn, couldn't it? Who is there? Anyone like freed up? I'm trying to think if there's any like title holders that are like just floating around, ex-title holders. Johnny's still got a belt, hasn't he? It won't be Bronson Reed. Don't know. It could be Finn. It could be Kyle. He's got a bit of a mullet on the go, Kyle, by the looks of it. He sounds like he works in an office. What's my next challenge? What's my next objective? Oh, he wants the North American Championship. Okay, so it's not going to be Kyle. Oh, or do I take this Killer Instinct? Okay, so he does talk to... Oh, here's Cameron Grimes. So Cameron Grimes is coming out. So, I don't know. It could be that we get Kyle O'Reilly going for Karrion, but looks like he's going to have to get through Cameron Grimes first, which I don't think will be too difficult. Going Ghost said AEW was a little bit weak last week. I hope they don't fall off just because they won the war with NXT. They're not going to fall off because their fans are their fans. They've got a very solid fan base that sticks around 700,000. And now there's no competition. People that watch wrestling on a Wednesday, you know, a good chunk of them will watch AEW that maybe used to watch NXT. And obviously we've seen that 1.2, but it won't stay there. I can see it going down to 900,000 to 1 million and settling around that range. So, no, they're absolutely fine. They're loving life. I think they were loving life at 700,000. Now they're going to be up. So, yeah, they'll be absolutely fine. I do agree last week was a bit of a weak show. But, yeah, I mean, fans have gone over to them because they're tired of WWE, aren't they? They're tired of the decline in quality. Right, we are with Karrion and we're with Kyle. Both in the ring right now. Carl's promo isn't bad. It just feels like he's trying too hard. NFTs. Okay, so yeah, they're just having a little chat about Dogecoin and stuff like this. Kyle O'Reilly is officially able to compete. I don't know what this is. Okay, Kyle O'Reilly punches Cameron Grimes. Cameron Grimes goes down. So it looks like they're really trying to give Kyle O'Reilly, like, personality. Grimes is grimy. O'Reilly sounds like a jobber trying to get a push, says 1987 big fan. I mean, I do like that they're showing some personality for him. I do think that there could be something there, you know, keep going with this. I'm not saying that the direction they're going in is bad. I'm just saying that his delivery at times is not great. But maybe that improves. I mean, he hasn't had many opportunities to talk, has he, in all fairness? So hopefully that does improve. Here's, as time goes by, here's Sarray with William Regal. Here's Zoe Stark. They both should move to the main roster because they have a pointless, boring 10-minute opening promo down. God damn. That was some good. Okay, so it's very respectful between Zoe Stark and Sarray. So we're going to see Sarray for the first time. I'm very excited about seeing her compete. And, well, my love for Zoe Stark is well known. So that is going to be a fun little match, that one. Really looking forward to it. The Warrior of the Sun. Who's better, Kyle or Cole? Big Boy Dally asking John to pick like his favorite kid. Deception Hunter says a mullet, bad promo, sounds like he works in an office pushing a pencil. Maybe he should be managed by someone like IRS. Well, do you know what? Cameron Grimes could be managed by the $1 Million Man. Kyle O'Reilly could be managed by IRS. We could have the new Money Incorporated, couldn't we? We could have the new Money Incorporated. That's exactly what 2021 needs. It needs a return of Money Inc. Big Boy Dally said, I think Cole is better. John says, none of them are better. They are equal. Dave in Real Life said, I feel that Zoe Stark will beat Sarray tonight. That was awful. When is NXT going to start? It started, my friend. We're up and running. We're 11 minutes in. And so far, we've had promo, a bit of a segment. It was all right. I mean, I said before, I do like to see some personality from Kyle O'Reilly. And so I'm not down on that. And, him coming out with his glasses and his hat and, do you know what I mean? Just showing a little bit of charisma. It was all right. Cole has got way more personality, says the Fiend Bray Wyatt. Vin said this will probably be like Stark versus Io Shirai. Alex says, I'm fully here now, all sorted. How is everyone? Alex, shout out to you. I wonder what dinosaur boobs look like. It's a great point. Fun facts. John thinks Cameron Grimes is better than Kyle O'Reilly. London Martin, shout out to you, my friend. Cerebral Assassin says LA Knight is awful. I never got it. Yeah, I'm the same. I'm the same. I've never quite got it either. Even when he was in NWA, I still never quite got it. I mean, everyone says that he's like this really good talker, and he definitely can talk, but I just never find myself caring. Is the truth. So yeah, I don't disagree. I think he has got charisma. I think he can wrestle. He can talk. I think he's perfectly fine sports entertainer, but it's just missing the I just don't care. That's what it comes down. I don't care. I'm not looking forward to watching LA Knight perform. Which yeah, I completely agree. I'm right with you, Cerebral Assassin. But I do acknowledge that he is good. He is a good promo. He does have charisma. He can wrestle. So if people are into him and they do care, I get it. I just agree. I don't see it. So we'll have to see if he can change our minds. Trent said, Days, what were your thoughts on T-Bar and Mace being unmasked last night? I thought it was good. I thought it was a step in the right direction. So Raw started with MVP saying that T-Bar and Mace have got nothing to do with the Hurt Business, which I thought I was a bit disappointed with. But then, you know, as the night went on, it became apparent that they did have something to do with it because, you know, he was backstage watching their matches and, you know, he seemed to be quite interested in what they were doing. And then they got unmasked during the match with Drew. And, you know, now the masks are off. There's no need to put them back on, is there? So I think the masks are off. Keep them off. Put them in suits. Have them with Bobby. I think they both look really good. So, yeah, we'll have to see what they do with them. But yeah, it's definitely a step in the right direction to get those masks off of them. Right, we've got LA Knight in the ring, and he is going to be taking on, I believe, Dexter Lumis. Fresh off his adventures with Indi Hartwell. Taking the masks off was awful. How can you say that? How can you sit there and say those things? 1987 Big Fan says the unmasking was the best part of Raw last night. That's a bit depressing, isn't it? The best part of Raw was seeing someone take their masks off. But I suppose in a way you could say that when Kane did it, that was one of the most significant moments, wasn't it? But I'm not sure that T-Bar and Mace have ever quite got to Kane levels, to be honest. Raw live stream, April, sad night, but full of laughs. Big Boy Dally, shout out to you. Yeah, it was sad. But we move on. We're back. You know, we're back. We're up and running again. So we're here tonight. We're back tomorrow for AEW. We'll be back for SmackDown. And of course, this weekend we've got UFC. Massive UFC show. Huge UFC show coming up this weekend. So very much looking forward to that. Strowman and Drew lost, says William. To Boy said I've probably got over 1,000 figures. I'm assuming Dexter let Hartwell see his Lumis cave. Right, the two lock up, and we are underway with LA Knight taking on Dexter Lumis. And over in the corner right now, LA Knight breaking apart. Referee just breaking them up. Goes for a strike, and Lumis moves out the way. Has there been any word on what's happening with Velveteen Dream? kick out. I haven't heard anything about the Velveteen Dream. Absolutely nothing. So I wonder what they're doing with him, because they now that we are past those superstar releases, it looks like he's not going anywhere. It looks like he's staying. So hopefully they're doing like proper investigations and getting everything sorted so that we can know once and for all what happened. Do you think Samoa Joe will go to AEW? He could do, but I don't know. How would they use him? If he can't wrestle, then do they need another commentator? Do they need another manager? He could. He could go there. I just don't know how they'd use him. And, I don't think they've got an endless pot of money. They definitely could sign him. They definitely have money, but they don't have like a big TV deal like WWE do. They haven't just signed anything with Peacock, and they haven't signed a big multi-million deal with SmackDown. I think a lot of this isn't a lot of this being paid for by Tony Khan? Isn't a lot of this coming out of Tony Khan's own pocket? So when you think of it that way, you have to think like, how would you use him? Why am I buying him? If Samoa Joe was on the market and I had a wrestling company, it was doing all right, I am really having to think now, why am I taking him? How am I using him? I honestly, I'd really have to think about it. If he can wrestle, you take him straight away. 100% you take him straight away. But I don't know. Into the corner. Nice net breaker by LA Knight. That was good. To Boy said, Days, where do you think this Charlotte Asuka thing is going? Maybe a triple threat at WrestleMania Backlash. Yeah, I could see that. Rhea Ripley getting involved. Yeah, I can see that. It's either going to be Asuka versus Charlotte, winner faces Rhea Ripley, or it'll be the triple threat. Big Boy Dally, we are at commercial break now, says, Days, do you think that Kenny Omega is doing better in AEW or Impact? I haven't seen him in Impact, to be honest. Is he wrestling in Impact that much? I think he's only had like a match, hasn't he, or two? So I think he's doing better in AEW. Joe has over 12 concussions. Crystal Simon said, Days, I just want to say thanks for the streams. My dog just passed away, and this stream is really helping me out. Oh, I'm really sorry, dude, to hear that. I'm really sorry to hear that. It's always, heartbreaking when those things happen, and there's nothing that you can do to make yourself feel better because, it's just, it's one of those things, though, when you have a pet, I think you have to know, it doesn't make it any easier, but I think you have to always be prepared for it or try to be. I mean, we've got a dog and, she's coming up to 8 and, still going to have a good couple of years, I would hope. But even I'm starting to think like, do you know what I mean? Can't be too long, can it? I think, isn't it like human years to dog years? Like it's about 7 years or something. So when she gets 10, she'll basically be 70. So you start going, So yeah, that sucks, dude. I'm sorry to hear that. Will Mickie James go back to Impact and finish her career there, says Ryan. I don't know. I would love for her to go to NWA because of Nick Aldis, her husband. And, I don't think they would charge much for her to come in. I think she'd be a name. She'd create a bit of buzz. She'd be a good addition to the NWA roster. But honestly, she is still a name. So she still might be able to earn a decent amount of money somewhere. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see where she goes. For the longest time, she just wasn't in wrestling. So she might be done. She might just be out. I mean, it was looking like she was trying to get into being a commentator in NXT. I thought that was going to be like a career path for her. So I don't know if she might fancy being a commentator. In fairness, AEW might benefit from a female commentator. So, and Mickie James would not be the worst. So, I don't know. There's a chance AEW might sniff around. If she still wants to wrestle, then NWA might sniff around. I'm sure Impact, I don't know what money they've got. They might be sniffing around. So, she might be all right. Or she might decide, I just don't want to do anything in wrestling anymore. So, Heather said, face it, Days, LA Knight was better in a tag team with James Storm. Yeah. Harry Richard said, Days, could you see Karrion's next opponent being? I could defo see it being Santos Escobar. Well, I think there's lots of options. Escobar, I think there's definitely a chance for them to, pull the trigger on him and move him up to that main event scene. I think he is a great wrestler. I think he is quite charismatic as well. I do like him. The only thing I would say about him is that he did face Karrion before. And even with the whole of Legado del Fantasma, they still couldn't beat him. So I do kind of look at that and think, not sure. Not sure. I don't know. I don't know that he is big enough to be the one to beat Karrion Kross. But I suppose you could have said that about Rey Mysterio, so we'll have to see. But he's already faced him and fallen well short. So, I don't know, I suppose I'm looking at Kyle O'Reilly. I'm looking at Lumis, Bronson Reed. I really think they'll move with Austin Theory at some point. So, but I don't think Karrion loses that title anytime soon. We are back to the action anyway, and lovely suplex there by Dexter Lumis.
Via a super chart. Days, do you think Parker will leave like Brock did?
Do you think Parker will leave like Brock did? I'll tell you what I'm thinking right now. I'm thinking Brock had a wrestling background, an amateur wrestling background. He could really compete. And he loved to fight. So when he left, he went off to football. I don't know that Parker's going to be able to leave and go to football. But Brock obviously went to UFC. I don't know that Parker's going to be able to leave and go to UFC because Parker hasn't got an amateur wrestling background. I don't know that he loves to fight like Brock does. This might be it for Parker. Like Parker coming in and being a wrestler might be it. There might not be anything else that he wants to do. There might not be anything else that he's able to do. That's no disrespect to him. I genuinely don't know. He might be a great American football player. I genuinely don't know. The only thing I would say is if he is a great American football player, why is he not doing American football? So, yeah, I kind of, I would lean towards no. I would lean towards no. Oh, hello. What's going on here? We've got Indi at ringside. Dexter. There is definitely something going on here. Look. LA Knight attacks a distracted Dexter Lumis. Lumis over the top comes crashing down onto LA Knight. LA Knight was talking to Indi. So Indi Hartwell watching on as Dexter Lumis gets into the ring. Netbreaker by LA Knight on a distracted Dexter Lumis. I mean, it's sort of interesting. LA Knight wins. Lumis was distracted by Indi Hartwell. I'm sort of into it. I just don't think they would act this way. It's not like they're forbidden love, are they? If they want to get together, just get together. I don't understand. Joaquin said, Days, do you think Parker will leave? Oh, we read that one. Yeah, my only problem with this, right? My only problem with this is no one's telling them they can't be together. Like, who's telling Dexter that he can't be with Indi Hartwell? Like, Dexter can do whatever he wants. I understand that the rest of the way are telling Indi to stay away from Dexter. I understand that. But it's not like this isn't Romeo and Juliet, right? This isn't a forbidden love. And Indi's on the edge of the ring right now. Lumis is coming over. I think the crowd are chanting kiss. And Indi Hartwell. And here's the rest of the way. Indi's trying to get... Theory just grabs her. Right, we're going. Look at the way... How strong is Austin Theory? Austin Theory's like, right, you're coming with me. And that's it. And off he goes. That was quite impressive. And the way she was like, ah. Fair play. Made me laugh. The way Dexter is meant to be a psycho and a man of a few words. Days, they are nervous and they've got a crush, says Crazy Ginger Jake Hold'em. Nervous? You're talking about what, 30-something-year-old man? Kind of feel like NXT doesn't need to... This is a little bit raw, isn't it? It's just a little bit raw. I kind of feel like I understand them having a little look at each other, and I can understand Indi Hartwell being like, I can't. The rest of the way are gonna, do you know what I mean? Like they won't allow it. And even Dexter Lumis, like just giving her a look and just thinking to himself, just a bit confused about like he's got feelings for her. Like those little subtleties, really cool. But this bit where they're like pining after each other, like one of them's in prison, or so. I don't get that. I don't get that bit. But I like the way. I must admit, I did find it funny as they were carrying her off. And she's like, ah. I can see that being a gif. Retribution said, Days, I'm really down. I hope you are well. Keep me in your thoughts. Retribution. Pick yourself up, my friend. Pick yourself up. I know it's easier said than done, but, you know, we're starting to come out of lockdowns and, you know, the opportunities are starting to pop up again. You know, the future's looking bright, my friend. Future's looking bright. Johnny said, Days, Brock Lesnar should go back to UFC to fight Conor McGregor. That would be a good one. Big Boy Dally said, Days, did you see any parts of the WWE Treasure Show? I thought it was great. I haven't. No, I really want to see it as well. I really, really want to see it. Butter Spark says, maybe he likes the younger ladies to take to his basement. Well, don't we all, Butter Spark? Don't we all? JP said, you're talking about logic in wrestling. That's boring. Hey, wrestling should have logic. For the longest time, wrestling had kayfabe where it was believable. And I like logic in wrestling. I think logic in wrestling is really important. You've got, like, rules in wrestling, and so there has to be a degree of logic. But I kind of feel like, for me, they can still tell this story, but there's ways to go about doing it. I'm not down on this story. I don't mind it. I just think that I look at that and I go, why are they, if they want to be together, just be together. I don't understand. Dexter Lumis doesn't care, does he? Dexter Lumis is a killer. He's a psycho. Nothing's stopping Dexter Lumis being with Indi Hartwell. It's only the rest of the way that are stopping Indi being with Lumis. So if they're going to tell the story, I hope it goes in that direction. I would love for it to be a case that Dexter Lumis is committed now. Dexter Lumis is on board. He wants to be with Indi, and Indi wants to be with him, but she's just constantly being prevented because of the way in there. You know, they could have it. They could have it whereby they turn around to her and they say, look, if you keep persisting in wanting to be with Dexter Lumis, then you're done. You're out of the way. It's either him or us, because he is bad news and we don't want him anywhere near this group. So it's him or us. That makes a bit more sense then. That makes a bit more sense. Then I can understand the conflict a little bit more. So I hope it goes in that direction. I'm sure it will. I hope it does. But I think logic in wrestling is important. If you don't have logic in wrestling, then you end up with The Fiend. Hayden said New Zealand is doing very well during the pandemic. Australia and New Zealand can travel without quarantine. That's good. Crazy Ginger Jake Holden says Indi on a pole. Lumis versus Gargano. Harry Richards said, Days, could you see Edge making an appearance on SmackDown this Friday? Sure. Have we not seen him for a few weeks? We could see him. Oh, here's Io. Io's here. Right. Io Shirai with Beth Phoenix. Let's see what Io's got to say. So Beth Phoenix calls Io's title reign spectacular. Okay, so she says, I just want to show you Takeover, Stand and Deliver. I like this presentation. So this is quite interesting. We never see them do this on Raw or SmackDown. They're actually sat in front of a TV screen and they're watching bits of the match. So it's like a sit-down interview. Do you remember Michael Cole used to do them? Used to sit down backstage, do interviews. It's a while ago, wasn't it? What's next for Io? Rest. So Io says her body needs time. Here's Taya. So Frankie Monet introducing herself. She's annoying, isn't she? Okay, so Io looks like she's going to go... The dog's yawning. So Io says something and Frankie says, I don't really understand. Okay. Hello, Breezango. Dressed up as beef eaters. Yeah, I'm into this. He says, thank you to Breezango and their stunning tribute to the UK. Breezango. So they were just pacing back and forth in the ring, and they're taking on the grizzled young veterans. They're not going to be impressed. Fun and games will get you nowhere. Grizzled! Why do they struggle saying grizzled? Why do they struggle so much? Grizzled! Days, can you give your Irish neighbour a shout out, please? McAvoy Production, shout out to you. Hope you are well and enjoying NXT. David Conley, shout out to you. British Breezango. British Ango. They're standing to attention right now. Clothesline over the top goes Drake. We've got Zach Gibson on the outside as well. So grizzled young veterans taking on Breezango. Io Shirai is one of my favorite wrestlers in the world. I can't wait for her to return, said Cerebral Assassin. Do you remember when Fandango defeated Chris Jericho? How far Fandango has fallen. I know. It's hard. I mean, like, how did they look at Fandango and think this is, you know, the next, not big thing, but that he was worthy of beating Chris Jericho? How was Fandango ever going to make it with that kind of ballroom gimmick? I mean, I will say the fans enjoyed Fandangoing. You know, the da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Like, fans used to love doing that. But him as a wrestler and as a personality, he's not got tons of charisma. He's fun on, like, the Fashion Files with Tyler Breeze. But I don't know. I've never looked at him and thought, yeah, he's, you know, proper mid-card, good. Like, we could get him up to that main event scene. So giving him a win over Jericho at WrestleMania, it's insane to me. But giving Corbin the win over Kurt Angle and having him retire Kurt Angle is insane to me as well, so...
Joaquin Uribe is a legend.
Joaquin.
They donated $1.99 via a super chat. I love the name of grizzled young veterans.
Grizzled young veterans, yeah. It is a good name. Breezango started in 2015. They are the longest tag team that are still together today, says Big Boy Dally. JP said the gimmick was outlandish enough to maybe get over, but it was all about the theme song. Yeah. Fans loved the theme song. And I think fans were into him. I don't like, there's no shade against him, but it's just hard to see like a ballroom dancer that was a heel kind of really doing like big things, to be honest. Don't know. They really tried to push him hard and, well, didn't work, did it? But I do like Breezango. I've always been a fan of theirs. But, yeah, even in NXT, they're not really getting much opportunity. They weren't getting any opportunity on the main roster. And in NXT, they've not had loads of opportunity. I mean, undoubtedly, they're still with the company. And, you know, if they were on the main roster, I think there's a chance they would have been cut, isn't there? So I suppose just be happy they're still around. Mike said New Day is the longest. They've been going since 2014. Michael said, will you be live for Kenny versus Swan? Honestly, I'm getting asked so much about this. I'm getting asked so much about this Impact show. Yeah, I think there's a good chance. Apparently it's on Sunday. So I'll have a look into it. But if it is Sunday, I haven't got any plans, so yeah. So it won't be long till we see Corbin jobbing on NXT. Well, they seem to be quite happy with just having him around, aren't they? I mean, they haven't really done a great deal with Corbin, apart from him winning King of the Ring or whatever, but he gets regular TV time. He's someone that's been in there with the likes of Dominic Mysterio and, you know, just kind of use him for bits, don't they? If you need a heel, he's like rent a heel, dial a heel, just a standard heel. Days, the Undisputed Era is no more. So when Bobby Fish came back, what should they do with him? hard to say, isn't it? Because he's had so many injury problems. I don't know what he's going to do. I honestly don't know what he's going to do. I don't know what they're going to do with Bobby Fish. So, we'll have to see. I mean, like, would he stick around Kyle O'Reilly? I doubt he'll be with Adam Cole. It looks like Roderick Stronger's left, or at least in storyline has left. We saw that last week, him and Marina Shafir handing in their notice. So, looks like we're done there. So, really hard to say what to do with Bobby Fish. He can't really go it on his own. I don't know what you can do with him. It sort of feels, because of all his injuries, it sort of feels like we're getting towards the end of the road. I wonder if there'll be a conversation about, does he want to be a trainer or something like this? Or I'm sure they'll use him in like Kyle O'Reilly's corner. Because if Kyle ever does win the title, there needs to be like an emotional moment. I could see Bobby Fish coming down and hugging him. Maybe Roderick Strong as well. And then maybe Adam Cole walks out on the entrance stage and just looks, stares, and that's how it ends or something. So I think there's ways to use him, but I don't know. Feels like we're closer to the end, doesn't it? Just got a little advert for UFC 261. Obviously, big show coming up. Big show coming up this Saturday. Very, very focused on that. Usman versus Masvidal 2. I'm assuring that the internet providers over there, what has happened so far? Not much. LA Knight has beat Dexter Lumis, and we had a little promo at the start, which set up a fight between Cameron Grimes and Kyle O'Reilly. Actually, thinking about it, there hasn't been a lot happened on this show, has there? It's been a little bit uneventful. But we're underway with Breezango against grizzled young veterans. Is the BMF belt on the line? No. That title just seems to have been a one-off and has completely disappeared. That title is just not around anymore. Right, grizzled young veterans doing a little bit of cheating there. Drake was down, faking an injury. Referee was distracted. It allowed Zach Gibson to come in. Days, what has been the biggest tell me I didn't just see that moment of 2021 so far? I don't know. That's a good one for the chat. What do you think is the biggest tell me I didn't just see that moment? I should imagine a lot of people might say Randy beating The Fiend. Might be quite a big one. Days, what about Pete Dunne versus Karrion Kross? I don't know. I'm just not really on board with Pete Dunne at the moment. I kind of feel that Pete is in a bit of a slump, which is weird because he has just recently beaten the likes of Kushida. But I don't know. I'm not really feeling Pete Dunne right now. I think since he's come over to NXT, it's not been as good. This version of Pete Dunne is not as good as the NXT UK version. So that wouldn't really excite me all that much, if I'm being truthful. Kick to the midsection by Tyler Breeze, who jumps into the ring. Drives straight back. But Sparks says Alexa screwing over the Fiend. Riddle beating Randy. What, that was your... What the F was that moment? Cheese Whiz says Mandy Rose falling over. I heard them mentioning that again. Strike to the midsection by Breeze. Nice leg sweep. Breezango in control. Heather says, I miss Fandango him. Retribution. Orton beating the Fiend at WrestleMania. Alexa's Playground was the best part of Raw. Was it? Double knees by Gibson. And that's it. Grizzled young veterans are victorious. So grizzled young veterans win. I think is there a guy in the crowd that's got Seth Rollins' suit? I'm sure there's a guy in the crowd that's wearing Seth Rollins' flame suit. What do you think of Kyle versus Kross? Yeah, I like that match. That match should be good. I would expect Kross to win, though. That's the only thing. I don't see Kross losing that title anytime soon. So I think whoever challenges him, within the next few months, has got to be expected to lose. Right. Grizzled young veterans victorious. We're backstage with Indi Hartwell. Right, here's the way. Cut the feed. Cut the feed. Shut it down. Here's Bronson. So Bronson said he's still got his eyes on the North American title. So we've got Candice and Indi arguing. Austin Theory calling Johnny Gargano Papa John. Okay, Austin Theory is going to be taking on Bronson Reed. It's always fun. Johnny takes the microphone from Mackenzie. That was good. Their backstage moments are just so good. Johnny had the microphone from Mackenzie. He's like, no interviews. No. And he didn't know what to do with it. It was like, he didn't know whether to like interview or what he was doing. Their backstage segments are so fun. You just have to watch, don't you? And just like, there's so much going on. You've got Indi and Candice arguing in the background. Bronson Reed coming in. You've got Austin Theory standing up for Johnny Gargano. You got Mackenzie standing there with the microphone. Johnny snapping it away from her. It's just this beautiful mess. Right, here we go. Shirai is making her way. Shirai. Mustache Mountain in action. Versus Zoe Stark. Nice attire. Zoe is going to be sacrificed, says Butter Spark. Let's turn this down. Shirai up next. Yeah, excited for that. The way stuff reminds me of old Mid-South stuff, says JP. Costas, shout out to you, my friend. Big Boy Dally said, Volta chopping the table. That was a good moment. That was a great match. Papa John is a great nickname. Yeah, it's fun, isn't it? I really do. I do enjoy their backstage segments. They have been such a fun addition. That has been such a fun group to bring in. Braun is not leaving WWE. Lesnar, maybe. Both superstars are not worth their salaries at this point. I've never seen Sarray before, so this should be fun, says James Chadwick. Samoa Joe getting released is the biggest WTF moment for me, says The Fiend, Bray Wyatt. Cheese Whiz says, Papa John, you got the pizza. Yeah, a lot of excitement for Sarray, who's going to be in action very, very soon. Right, we are just at commercial break. Dace, I really think that Volta's next opponent should be 100% either Tyler Bates or Dragunov. I don't know. To be honest, I think Dragunov is the one that should beat him. So I wouldn't do that until we're ready to end this reign. And it just feels to me like this reign is really at a point now where it really means something. You know, we've passed, was it 2 years that he's been champ now? Or at least coming up to it. And I kind of feel like he was in lockdown for a long time, and all of a sudden we can do these matches like him against Ciampa. I would do some more of them first. Because to be honest, I wouldn't have him up against Tyler Bates. I don't think Tyler Bates is going to be the one to beat him. I think it should be Dragunov that beats him. I think that would be that would make a big statement, you know, and it builds a new star. I think Tyler Bates already a star. So yeah, I'd go with Aliyah being the one. But I wouldn't do that yet. To be honest, I wouldn't do that in 2021. If he's losing it, I'd do it next year. I would do it once I know what I'm going to do with him when he loses it. Stark is like Miss Iron Man, says William. Fiend Bray Wyatt said, I wonder what's next for Finn Balor. Yeah, that's a good point. I wonder what's next for Finn Balor. I mean, I wondered what was next for Io Shirai, and it seems like she's going for a bit of a rest. There could be something between her and Taya Valkyrie, Frankie Monet. Not too sure. We'll have to see how that plays out. We're backstage with Cameron Grimes. He's got an NFT. Okay. Oh, Ted DiBiase! That's good. So he tried to buy... He's tried to buy an NFT, but he's been outbid by the $1 million man. And he walks off screaming, Ted DiBiase! I love that. Oh, man. I've heard rumors that they're going to be looking to bring him in. Right, here's Sarray. It's pretty generic intro, isn't it, really? It's very Japanese music with electric guitar. Oh, I love the graphics, though. That graphic's cool. That graphic's really cool. So on the screens, on the Thunderdome screens, they made it look like these banners were being unveiled. And, like, these banners are, like, blowing in the wind. And it says, like, it's got her logo and it's got her image. And it looks like they just unrolled these banners. That was a nice graphic. For a moment there, I was like, have they really unrolled them banners? So I like that. Music's all right. It's all right. It's just, you know, like how EOS is so different. It's like that. We go like really down to the bass.
Parry Plus is a legend.
It was nothing like that.
$2 via a super chart. Heyday's Randy O wife is mad at Bliss cause of fast.
Randy's wife is mad at Bliss because of fast. What, Fastlane? Parry Plus, shout out to you. Yeah, did see that a few weeks back, where she seemed to be upset. I think, didn't she say you effed up, little girl? So, I don't know. Maybe that's why Randy's out of that storyline now. Perhaps she called up Vince very angry. And that's why Randy's not part of that story now. Shout out to you, Parry Plus. We are sneaking our way towards the halfway scores as well, which we will do at the next commercial break. Right, Sarray has got Zoe Stark's legs tied up. And she bends back. Nice. Bridge. Chin lock. Zoe manages to get to that bottom rope. Sarray having to break the hold. Kick to the thigh. Sarray screaming. Goes over, ducks underneath. Zoe Stark, big back elbow by Zoe Stark. Catching Sarray. Sarray gets thrown. Against the ropes goes Zoe Stark. Nice clothesline. Sarray turned inside out. Kick out by Sarray. Yeah, Wade Barrett says Zoe Stark's a newcomer as well. Let's not forget this. But she feels like a veteran at this stage. Beautiful snap suplex. What a suplex that was by Zoe Stark. Shoulder up by Sarray. So tonight we've got Kyle O'Reilly taking on Cameron Grimes. I think that's going to be our main event. Big sharp elbow and Sarray is down. Elbow to the sides by Zoe Stark. Shoulder up by Sarray. Over to the corner goes Sarray. Down she goes. Kick to the midsection. So Sarray is down, slumped down at the moment. Big forearm strike. Kick to the midsection by Zoe Stark. Really trading strikes at the moment. Ugh. They're going to give this match some time, aren't they? Beth mentioning Manami Toyota and Aja Kong. I didn't know that Grimes O'Reilly was tonight. Yeah, I'm guessing that's going to be our main event. I'm guessing. Although we do still have the Kushida Open Challenge. But I can't imagine that's the main event. Sarray in the corner. Zoe Stark charges over. Gets put onto the outside. Big strike. Basement drop kick. Excellent fast-paced work there. Very, very good work by Sarray. Hey, Sarray. Baby, I got your money. Don't you worry, Sarray. Right. Sarray. Big forearm strike. Yeah, again, really laying them in. What I really like about Sarray, so what I like about her is that she's doing like really hard-hitting stuff. Lot of forearm strikes, lots of knees, big drop kick, huge drop kick. Against the ropes goes Sarray. Oh, she proper laid that in. So everything I'm seeing from her, she's laying it in. She's using a lot of striking. She's got some nice moves that she can punctuate throughout the match. Just really give like a few highlights throughout the match too. But this drop kick, boom! Right as Zoe Stark was coming back off the ropes. Look at that as well. Yeah. Yeah, nice little showcase so far, this is. I'm down with this. Oh, look at that kick, though, by Zoe Stark. Beautiful. Kip up. Stark against the ropes. Knee. 1, 2. Yeah, good little match, this. It's another week where they're giving Zoe Stark, like, some time to show what she can do and show how good she is. She's really come in with no fanfare. Oh, she landed on... Oh, that was nasty. She could have done herself a proper injury there. Zoe Stark, the way she landed. I love that kick, though. That back kick is awesome from Zoe. 1, 2. Shoulder up by Sarray. This is a really fun match. It's 2. Just another 2. Zoe Stark really trying here. Working hard. Back elbow by Sarray. Zoe Stark picks her up. Ooh. Throws her over. Oh, back kick by Sarray. Another forearm strike. She lays these in really well. Great suplex. 1, 2, 3. Sarray wins. Sarray wins. A really fun little bit of lag. I don't think it's anything more than just a little bit of lag. So Sarray wins. Excellent performance. Really good little match. And, yeah, I think she's going to be a good addition to that women's roster. She's waving to the crowd. Oh, someone attacks Zoe. Is that Tony? Tony Storm. Tony Storm attacks. Yeah, obviously going to be upset. She lost the match on Stand and Deliver, didn't she? Man, she threw her hard. She threw her hard. Zoe Stark probably thinks she's been hit by a car or something. The explosion when she went into the barricade. Saraya's come over to check on her. Okay, we're backstage with Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez. What top is Raquel Gonzalez wearing? So Dakota Kai is doing some talking for Raquel Gonzalez. Raquel Gonzalez feels huge now, doesn't she? Right, and they walk off. So, little backstage interview with Dakota and Raquel. Not really much to that. Coming up next, Kushida's Open Challenge. So, Kushida's Open Challenge coming up next. Daze looks confused. Well, I was wondering where that promo was going, to be honest. I'm constantly waiting for Dakota to turn on Raquel. But clearly not yet. Boom. Open challenge. Kushida next. Who is going to step up to Kushida? Big question. Right, get in your halftime scores. Halftime scores. What do you think of the show so far? Are you feeling it? Are you not feeling it? What do you think? Get in your halftime scores. Your stream, for me, some reason, just went really ahead. 7 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 6.25. Jay says 7.5. But Spark says, you're a wizard, Dakota. Efren says 7. Brendan says 9.25. LSW says 7.5. Crazy Cheech says 6.5. Harry Richard says, I could see it being Pete Dunne. Austin says 7.5. Typical Tyler says 8. Cerebral Assassin says 8. We got quite high scores here. Brony 6.75. John 7.5. Alex 7.25. Brian says 7. It's enjoyable. Johnny Carter says 5. J14 says 7. Jason says 7. Hayden says 7.5. Dan C says 7. Broken Dream says 7.5. Jim Ackerman says 8. Sunny says 7. Robin 813 says 7.5. Dom 15 says 7. Dave in Real Life says 6. Troy Knight says 7.5. Brony FN says 6.75. Ryan Reynolds says 7.5. Ethan says 7. Brad G says 7.5. Loads of 7s. Loads of 7s. We've got a few 6s in there as well. A couple of 8s. But I feel like the chat average is around like a 7.25, something like that. Which is not a bad score by any means. Rated R Wrestling says 9.27. David Connolly says 7.5. Devontae says 6. Vinster the Great says 7. William Hensey says 6.5. Bonkers LFC says 7. Brendan says 9.32. Sean Reset says 9. David Conley says 7.5. I loved that Zoe Saray match. Was very good. Was good. I thought the way was good backstage in their little segment. I mean, LA Knight, Dexter Lumis was okay. Tag match was okay. Kyle O'Reilly's promo at the start was a bit meh. I mean, I don't think this is a disaster. I don't know that I would be in 8s and stuff like that. I don't think there's been any like OMG moments or anything that's really sticking with me. But it's been solid. It's been solid. Lude 909 says 7. Jim said I was going to rate it a 9, but 7.89. A good number joke. Well done, Jim. The Way is amazing, says Anthony. They are fun, aren't they? They are fun. In fact, is that tonight? Are we getting... Oh, we've got them again. There's Lumis in the background. Candice says the 2 dummies I was looking... I think she thinks that Indi's with her. Fair play. Candice still knocks the drink out of Ember Moon's hand. They've dragged Candice into a room and they're beating her up. Give Candice the title. Fair play. I thought as soon as Candice turned around and saw that Indi had gone, she was going to run. But instead she flips Ember's drink in her face. Right, we're moving on to the Kushida Open Challenge. They are gold, aren't they? They are gold. She about to get whooped. R.I.P. Candice. That was funny. So they're just reminding us and showing us Kushida about how big of a deal it was when he joined. He did it. He did it. Kushida did it. Kushida, NXT Cruiserweight Champion. Hopefully they make this, because this Cruiserweight Championship doesn't feel like anything, does it? It just doesn't feel like, I mean, like they're celebrating like he's just won the WWE title. I wonder, change the belt. Please change the belt. The belt is awful. The belt is awful. Change the belt. And then maybe like it'll feel a bit more prestigious. Okay, Alicia Taylor announcing Kushida. Steve Corino, yeah. Days, I'm glad to see you back up and running. Missed the Raw stream last night. Matt Handy, shout out to you, bud. Yeah, we had problems in the local area, but all seem to be sorted now. So we are back, baby. Right, Kushida in the ring, ready to compete. And is he barefoot? Is Kushida barefoot? How long has he been barefoot? Was he barefoot at Stand and Deliver? Interesting. He's wearing trunks. Yeah, he started wearing trunks. Tonight I will give same opportunity. Who wants title shot? Oney Lorcan? Right, yeah, looks like Oney Lorcan's making his way down. Okay. Right, Kushida versus Oney Lorcan. I wanted Corbin, said Austin. Hulk Hogan, said Burspa. Yeah. I find it weird, him not wearing boots. Him not wearing footwear. Not sure I like it. How is days ahead of me? Where am I? What do you mean? Like the show hasn't. I don't know. Perhaps did you guys get like an extra commercial or something? I don't know. No boots. No boots. Right, Kushida on the back of Oney Lorcan, looking to stretch him out. Looked like Kushida almost slipped. Yeah, it's weird to see them not wearing boots. There's a few superstars that don't, obviously like Riddle, but it's not really the norm. Right, Oney Lorcan is pulling back on the nose. Kick to the midsection. The Fiend Bray Wyatt wanted the Fiend too, buddy. I'm glad he isn't wearing that coat again. I'm going to look for food, says Sonny. Nando said, after you lagged and came back, you got ahead of us. Weird. I can't explain. I don't know. Roll through by Kushida. And Oney Lorcan gets over to the ropes. Big chop there by Oney. Big. Oh, man, that sounded huge. Big chop by Oney Lorcan. Top rope enziguri by Kushida. Lorcan goes to the outside. Explain how you got ahead. I can't. It's one of life's great mysteries. I'm going to say it's supernatural. Zoe brings something new and great. Wrestlers can't wait to see what she does. Riddle, a jobber. That's funny. We could have a good match here. We really could. Yeah, this could be... I mean, Oney Lorcan can really wrestle. He's kind of a unsung hero, really. He's been doing that tag team stuff, hasn't he, with Danny Burch? But yeah, he's a great little wrestler. Wasn't long ago that he was putting on just like a series of really great matches. He was kind of the Cesaro of NXT back when it was at like Full Sail and we had a crowd, like before the pandemic. And I think they saw real promise in him, but they didn't. I don't think they really knew what to do with him, so he ended up going into that tag team. So I completely agree. This could be really, really good. It was a nice enziguri. Imagine if Oney wins. Daisy's chat is on point as well. Right, we are at commercial break right now. We've got 40 minutes left of NXT. As we said, show's been all right. It's been fairly solid. I think it's definitely missing out on a little bit of star power in the sense of AEW bring in Mike Tyson. Do you know what I mean? And they bring in legends, and there always seems to be like a big reason to tune in for AEW. NXT doesn't really give you that big reason to tune in, apart from it just being like a solid show. And I think it's been another solid show so far. Fun fact, I'm still ahead of Days, says Dave in real life. Finn could make the Cruiserweight title more important, says Ephraim the Beast. Yeah, I just wonder, are they looking to do that? Are they looking to make the Cruiserweight title comparable to like the Junior Heavyweight title in New Japan? Like the Junior Heavyweight belt is important in New Japan, but I don't know that you could say the Cruiserweight title is that important in WWE. So, don't know. Perhaps that's how they're using Kushida. They're going to have him as champion for a while and build up the importance of this title. Not the worst idea. Should NXT bring in Evander Holyfield to match AEW getting Tyson? I don't think Holyfield's going to draw the way Tyson does. Tyson's known as, at one point, being the baddest man on the planet. So, I don't know that bringing in Holyfield is comparable to Tyson. I don't know who you'd get. I don't know who you'd get. I can't think of anyone that was as big as Tyson back in the day. He really was the absolute pinnacle. But obviously his time has gone now, and now he's been replaced by people like Conor McGregor, you know. Big kicks coming in by Kushida. Mayweather, I suppose. Could bring Mayweather in. Shoulder up. Shoulder up by Kushida. If they change the design, put it on Finn, then that will take the title to a whole new level, says LSW. Johnny Gardner said 205 Live is still a show, and I think you should just put the Cruiserweight title on NXT because 205 Live hasn't been good like it used to be. I don't even know why that show's still going, to be honest. I don't know who it serves. I don't know what its audience is meant to be, or I have no idea why 205 Live is a thing. It doesn't have its own roster, does it? Although saying that, aren't the Bollywood boys on it? I'm amazed it's still going. I'm just amazed it's still going. Do you listen to Busted Open? I don't know. I don't think we get it here in the UK. Big open palm from Kushida. Oney Lorcan goes down. Days, did you see Connor tweet about buying Man United? I did. He hasn't got enough money. If you're going to buy a club like that, you need to be a billionaire. And Connor's not a billionaire. Obviously, you could go to get into a consortium, get some other people, go to the banks, all that kind of stuff, but it's not happening. Nice reversal, round the back. He keeps slipping. Kushida keeps slipping. He is definitely slipping more without boots. Blockbuster by Oney. Kushida down. 1, 2. Shoulder up. You can get Busted Open via Google Podcast app, says Alex Bloomfield. Brony said, Days, who do you think Roman's next opponent will be since Cesaro is still feuding with Seth? Do you think Big E could challenge him? I feel like it's too early. I feel like it's too early. I feel like that would be too early as well. Honestly, it's probably going to be Edge or Daniel. They'll probably just stick with that for the time being. Big strike by Kushida. Hip toss. Drop kick. Whoa! Great strikes. Hoverboard lock. He's got it. Hoverboard lock. And that's it. Kushida retains with the hoverboard lock in a fun little match. I'm barely paying attention to this match, even though it's probably great. It was fun. Yeah, it was fine. I would say that Sarray versus Zoe Stark was better, in my opinion. Some big chops there, though. It was a good match. 2 great matches on the show so far this week. We should, Dave's community should chip in and see if we could buy Man United. Days, I ordered from an Indian restaurant and I got it's a rice beef. I've never even heard of it, but oh, hello. Legada del Fantasma, Escobar. And they're attacking. They're attacking. So, Legada del Fantasma, Escobar with a big kick from behind. Kushida goes out the ring. So it looks like they're not done with the Cruiserweight title picture. MSK have come down. So MSK have come down to help Kushida. Okay, guys, might be out. Think I'm going to watch Matthew, but Heather, see you later. The guy that's out are sexy. Escobar, MSK, yeah, MSK have come down. Is that a match that'll be made for next week? Like a 6-man tag match kind of a thing? So Kushida holding up that belt. And we're backstage with Mercedes Martinez. So she says, are you ducking me? Are you scared? I think she's talking to Raquel Gonzalez. You're in the shadow. Dakota calls the orders and you respond. So looks like Mercedes Martinez is trying to drive a wedge between Dakota and Raquel Gonzalez. As we go to commercial break. Question for the chats on Twitter. What does ONG mean? I don't know what ONG means. Right, we are at commercial break. Mercedes looks like a badass killer with those tattoos. It's a cool look, says Brony. Yeah, I don't remember her saying stuff like Mamma Cita and all this before. But she's kind of leaning into her, is it Mexican heritage? A little bit, but it's cool. How happy must she be that she got out of Retribution? I mean, look what's happened to it. It's completely broken apart. And, yeah, now she can just concentrate on, you know, being in NXT. There's something about On God. What's On God? ONG is dumb. I hate Twitter link. On God. What's that mean? What's On God? What does that mean? On God? What, like blame it on God? Ah, the weather sucks. Ah, blame ONG. Blame ONG. ONG is to blame. The greatest decision of her life, says Efren. Alex said, I'm guessing Kushida took off the boots because he was 207 with them on. On God is like when people say on my mom. What? I don't even understand that. Hang on. No, Sonny, you're going, oh, okay. Oh, ONG means I swear to God. ONG, did you see what she was wearing the other day? Now, isn't that like, why wouldn't that be, that's OMG? Isn't it? OMG, didn't you see what I'm confused now. I'm confused. I don't know. I haven't got a clue. I don't even know if I've seen ONG. I've seen NGL. NGL? What's NGL? I don't even know what that is. That's one that I've seen on Twitter quite a bit. Rest of that, ONG is oh no gong. No, ONG means on God, not I swear to God. Yeah, but what's on God? I don't understand. What do you mean on God? I still don't get what people mean. We've established that ONG means on God, but when would I ever say on God? What does it mean? NGL means not gonna lie. Right, cool. I didn't know that. NGL means not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. NGL, I still don't know what ONG means. I just searched up ONGs and it said, I swear to God. NGL is not gonna lie, says LSW. John Costello says ONG equals no God. No God. I don't think anyone knows. I think that's the conclusion we've come to. No one really knows. No one really knows. Everyone's just running around trying to look cool by using this term that no one knows what it means. On God? What the flip is on God mean? You kids. Days, on God means you've put something on God, like you swear to God that something is true. Oh, a shirt's been ripped. She's been beaten up. We got Candice. Here's Indi. Candice. She has got gum in her hair. Candice is not happy here. Johnny's like, give you 5 minutes, yeah? 5 minutes? Okay. Austin wants the gum. Yeah, he's fun, isn't he? So the gum was all caught in Candice's hair. Right, we've got Everrise. Who are they facing? Everrise live every Saturday morning. What's that? Where? What? Oh, Imperium. Imperium? Only 3 of the 4. Isn't it weird, though? It is a bit weird, isn't it, that you've got this group of 4, but only 3 of them appear, and the other one's over on NXT UK? I wonder what I mean, like, I wonder if the plan is they're going to take them to the main roster, call them up as Imperium, and then that will allow Volta to make occasional appearances. What I still don't understand is why people say ROFL. Rolf. Yeah, what's ROFL? I know it's something to do with, like, laughing, isn't it? Imperium. Don't we still have Theory Reed and Kyle versus Grimes? Or is Theory Reed not until next week? Maybe it's next week. I can't imagine they're going to fit all that in, are they? With this 3 matches in 24 minutes. I would guess that one is next week, and it's just going to be Grimes against O'Reilly for the main event tonight. Imperium would be chasing the 24/7 title on Raw. Rolling on the floor. Yeah, I thought it had something to do with laughing. I can't remember all these. They need to be written down somewhere. Do you know what I mean? Twitter speak. Used to have to do that with text messages because you only had so many characters with text messages. That's where it all came from. LOL and all this came from texts. Because when texts first started, you could only send so many characters. And you got charged by the text. Whereas now, with phone plans, you tend to get unlimited texts, don't you? So it doesn't matter. But back then, you used to get like 5,000 texts, 1,000 minutes. Like I remember those plans from the early 2000s. So as a result, you had to get as much info into one text as you could. So yeah, people were having to come up with all these little LOLs and OMGs and I don't think we're going to get Karrion Kross tonight, says Big Boy Dally.
uppercut. Ever Eyes go down. 1, 2, 3. Well, there's one match down.
Imperium victorious over Ever-Rise. NGL means not gonna lie, says Dominic. Imperium wins. Do, 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 do. We did get Killian Dane, Drake Maverick come down. Alexander Wolf's kind of positioned as the leader here, isn't he? And there's Kyle O'Reilly. Oh, there's Karrion. And Scarlett. What are they doing there? So it looks like looks like we are building to O'Reilly being next. He just stared at Karrion, who was kind of in the gorilla area with Scarlett. So apparently this is our main event. O'Reilly versus Cameron Grimes. I remember when cell phones first came out in the 80s. We had one in my dad's truck. Big cart cell phones attached by a cord. Kyle had a massive win streak for 2021. Johnny said, what's the best takeover match of all time? Well, I mean, there's been some incredible ones, hasn't there? There has been some incredible ones. There's loads that I love, but I'm really into Tyler Bate versus Pete Dunne. I'm really into that. Tyler Bate versus Pete Dunne, I think, was awesome. Phoebe says, I'm here for the first time in a long time. Shout out to you, Phoebe. Then we had flip phones. Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? How everything got smaller. Everything got smaller. And, yeah, it's kind of strange how it all went. And now people want bigger screens because they tend to use their phones to watch things on. Crazy Cheech says, I had a big Motorola phone in the early 90s. It was the size of a briefcase. Crazy Ginger Jake Holden says, Volta versus Bait. I don't know what that one means either, Lauren. GTFOOH. I remember when flip phones were a big thing. Yeah, they were, man. They really were. They were very popular, but as I said, it was kind of like people really wanted smaller and smaller phones. They didn't want something big in their pocket because, in all fairness, you couldn't get on the internet. You couldn't play you could play Snake and stuff like this, but you weren't playing like great big games or, I think you could play Grand Theft Auto on your phone now. So, you just didn't need any of that stuff. So, yeah, phones got smaller and then to the point where they were flip phones. And they were getting down to about this big. And then all of a sudden, you could start watching, films on your phone, TV shows on your phone, all this kind of play games on your phone. And then all of a sudden, they started going back up like this. So now they're like this now, once again. I've seen you can even there's a fold-out one now, isn't I don't know who makes it, but there's one that, it's about this big, and you can, proper fold it out, so the screen becomes a bit like a very small tablet. Apparently, you can't see the line where it bends. Once it's folded out, it's all just a perfect screen. Crazy, isn't it? Technology. Crazy technology. So, yeah, foldable screens and everything now, isn't it? Not like my day. Not like my day. Days, the Fiend sucks me. On God.
On God. Sounds like could join up with Moss and AJ Styles. My first phone was a Bama phone. That's Samsung, is it? Big Boy Dally said, have you thought about either the AEW or 2K22 game, streaming a game? I was going to do that with Battlegrounds, and we never did. So I think it's probably pointless me sitting here saying that we're going to do that. Because, yes, I would have every true intention of doing it, but I just never get around to doing it. I mean, I went out and I bought a capture card. I watched videos on how to do it. I downloaded the game. I probably should play that game. I haven't even opened it. I've got Battlegrounds. But I think everyone's played it, completed it, moved on with their lives now. So I should just play it. But I haven't even opened it. I wonder if those tiny portable TVs will make a comeback. But as TV phone combos. I don't know where the future's going. It's going to be very interesting to see what they can do in the future with mobile phones, won't it? They're so important. I can't imagine my life without my mobile phone now. I go absolutely everywhere with it. As I'm sure you lot do as well. I'm sure a lot of you are probably watching this on a mobile phone. So, yes, there is a six-man tag next week. Kushida and MSK taking on Legado del Fantasma. So, Kyle O'Reilly is in the ring. You still haven't played it after you bought it months ago? I haven't even opened it. Nope. I downloaded it. It's on my Switch. I mean, I never play my Switch. I bought a Switch because I thought when I go to bed and I'm lying there and I'm like, so I'm not very good at just going straight to sleep. Unless I'm absolutely shattered and I like close my eyes and I'm gone. I always just lie there for quite a bit. So I was like, oh, I don't know what I should do. Like, should I get a Switch? When would I play it? I decided to get one because I thought I might play it before I go to sleep. Oh, I just don't. I just don't. Nothing against the Switch, though. It's a very good machine. But I just don't play it. So, yeah, I've not played Battlegrounds yet. Maybe we'll have computer chips implanted into our brains and then we'll be able to receive the internet that way. Well, I hope not, because mine is going to lag all the time because my local Wi-Fi mast is just not reliable. So I'll be lagging. I'll be lagging. Not the computers, me. So I'm not sure that's a future that I want to be a part of. Crazy Cheech says this has got to be one of the worst entrance musics ever. I like Kyle O'Reilly's ring attire. It's like blue camo. It's quite bright. And it looks quite nice. I don't need whatever it says in red on it. I don't know that red on blue looks that great. So I don't need that. But the rest of it looks really sharp. Looks quite crisp. Any bananas tonight? Well, we've had one, yes. We have enjoyed one banana. It's nice to eat a banana without sobbing like I was last night when the streams crashed. And I was just sat here on my own, eating a banana, sobbing away. I don't want to wait for our lives to be over. Days, did you watch the new Stone Cold biography on A&E? It was incredibly in-depth. Can't wait for next Sunday for the Rowdy Roddy Piper one. No, I don't know where to get these shows. The Treasures one, the Piper biography. I have the same problem when it's Dark Side of the Ring. Although I think that's a little easier because that we do have Vice in the UK, but I don't think we've got A&E. So, no, I haven't seen it, and I don't know when I'll see it, but I'm very excited to watch it because I've heard such glowing reviews. Yeah, I will see it one day. I just don't know when that day will be. Joaquin said, where do you think wrestling will be in 100 years' time? Who knows, man? Who knows? I don't know. I mean, I think it'll be around in some form. But will it just be in the UFC? I mean, obviously, if we keep declining, and you'd have to think that it'll come around in circles. I think there's definitely an appeal of pro wrestling. Pro wrestling still, even today, connects with people. Kids that are getting into it, really enjoy it. Adults that got into it when they were young really enjoy it. The one thing I don't think pro wrestling is very good at, and you can tell me if I'm wrong, but that's attracting adults. I don't know that there's many adults that didn't watch it as kids that get into it later on in life. I've never met anyone that's done that. Everyone that's got into it when they were young. I can't say I've ever met anyone that got into it when they were they never watched it as a kid, but they got into it in their 20s or 30s, 40s or 50s. I've never seen that. It's always people talking about when they were young, when they were, at school or at college. Do you know what I mean? It's very unusual to the point where I've never met anyone that have got into it when they're in their 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s. And I wonder if that's because, it does pitch itself, Vince aims WWE in particular at a younger audience. So a lot of WWE is silly, isn't it? It's a bit silly. You've got the Roman story that's quite good. And, maybe they're exploring horror with Alexa and Fiend. So perhaps they are trying some stuff to find a way of attracting an older fan base. But I would say that Alexa acting so childish, and maybe even Bray acting childish as well, might be a barrier for adults to get into it. It kind of feels like PG horror. So I don't know. Until they change that rating and gets a bit darker, a bit moodier, maybe a bit more violent. I also wonder if it should get a bit more violent. People love the Volta matches because he really lays the chops in and he really does put in those blows. And you can see how red the chest is and everything. Could you imagine if the matches were a bit more violent, a bit more hard hitting? They weren't as the high flying stuff's fine, and there's definitely a market for that. But I just wonder if wrestling was a bit more legit. All right, the outcome is scripted, so we know how the finish is. But the fight, the contest, the strikes, they proper lay it into each other. Maybe we see the wrestlers less. Maybe that would be. Do you know what I mean? You don't need to see them every single week. You don't tune into UFC and see all their champions on every single week, do you? And every single show. In fact, you only see them once a month mainly, and not even all of them, of course. You get one champion a month or something. I do feel that there's definitely lessons that pro wrestling can learn from UFC. And I think there's lessons that UFC can learn from pro wrestling. And I think there's lessons from that Triller show that both can learn as well. A lot of what not to do. But Jake Paul, Ben Askren, I thought, did have some really interesting things like the setting. I thought the setting was really good. I loved the scaffolding around. And the way that the commentary team, where that was set, kind of felt different, felt cool. Not the kind of thing that we're used to seeing. So I thought the boxing setting was excellent. I thought that was a big positive. And maybe having a musical act. Why can't you have a musical act? This week's musical act on NXT. Just to break it up. It's a great showcase for the musical acts. There'd be they've got good relationships with the likes of Poppy and that Nitina, whatever her name is, the guitarist. They've got loads of people that would come on. You could have at some point a musical performance. I understand people would say, what's that got to do with wrestling? But it's kind of a lifestyle. Do you know what I mean? It's like, if you're into this wrestling, if you're into this brand, you might like this music. Well, guess what? They've got a new song out. Let's check them out. This week, the musical act is. And it kind of mixes it up as well. So in a way, I didn't really mind that boxing show where we had Ric Flair backstage and they did a slap thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, all right, it wasn't advertised. It was a bit random, but I wasn't like too down on it, to be honest. I wasn't too down on that bit. The bits I hated was I thought the hosts were awful. I thought there was way too many musical acts. I mean, we only needed like 1 or 2. They had about 5 or 6, and each musical act had about 3 or 4 songs. Like, you don't need that. So they needed to get rid of some of the musical acts and not have them do as much. Needed better hosting. Kind of felt like it needed to be a bit more professional. But all of that to one side, there was some good elements to it as well. So where will wrestling be in 100 years? Don't know. I don't think it'll be in a great place unless something really reinvigorates it. And I think there's definitely lessons that it can learn. In 100 years, Undertaker's grandson will be fighting Kane's grandson at WrestleMania 137. WrestleMania 100, and think about that. That's wild, isn't it? Isn't that strange to think about that? WrestleMania 100 and something. It's weird. Days, do you remember the Pac-Man game? Of course. And Snake. Do you remember Snake? That used to be on mobile phones. Cameron Grimes got a chin lock on at the moment. Straight to the midsection. And again. Against the ropes goes Cameron Grimes. Shoulder tackle. Knee to the midsection. Good work by Kyle O'Reilly. Days, what do you think will happen to WWE when Vince passes away? Well, I think that Steph spoke about it, like if Vince steps down, not if he passes away. And she said like that they're going to look to carry on, and it won't just be one person that runs it. It'll be done by a board. I mean, I would imagine they'll put someone like Triple H in charge of creative. And then I could see like Shane running at one show, Steph running another. But they're just overseeing the process. They're making sure that everything gets done. But I could see the creative being like Triple H. But make no mistake about it, Shane's still going to have his say and Steph will still have her say. They might even take a bit of an AEW approach whereby Steph books the women's division, Triple H books the men's division, maybe Shane books the tags or something like this. So, yeah, I could see it carrying on. Be interesting, though, if Vince passes away and Disney put in a big offer. Be interesting to see what they did. Imagine Vince passes away and Disney offers them like $4 billion for WWE. Kyle O'Reilly in control. This match has been all right. Cameron Grimes looks like he's out. Big kick by Kyle O'Reilly. Amazing. We've only got 3 minutes left. We're right towards the end of this week's show. Planted. 1, 2. Shoulder up. Shoulder up by O'Reilly. Hopefully I'll wake up tomorrow on time for my doctor's appointment. Good luck with that, Sonny. JP said Grimes is the only interesting thing about this match. Wrestling Lane said they should start booking The Fiend like 97 Kane. He was unstoppable and very violent. Fiend is kind of violent, but not really. Days, how do you feel that when we are gone, you'll be a big part of history wrestling-wise facts, stats, and opinions from you are awesome 50 years from now, let's say. Do you feel when we are gone? We are no part in wrestling whatsoever. We have no impact on wrestling. We have a nice little community here, and we just enjoy watching it together. But no, make no mistake about it. Time will forget us quite quickly. Ugh, that's so messy. I'm really not sure about that move, man. It's kind of like a Spanish fly, but it never quite got the proper rotation on it. I don't quite know what you would call it. It's not quite a Spanish fly. But it looks moody. It really looks moody, that move. It's a big move by Cameron Grimes, though. He's going for his double stomp. Kick by Kyle O'Reilly. Strike by Cameron Grimes. Goes for a high kick. Nice. Back kick. O'Reilly off the ropes. Big clothesline. Turns Cameron Grimes inside out. Big forearm strike. And that should be it. That should be it. O'Reilly absolutely planting Cameron Grimes. O'Reilly going over to the corner. Knee strike right to the back of the net. And that's that. That's that. Kyle O'Reilly wins. Not a bad little match. Are we going to see Adam Cole come out? We've got literally like a minute or so. Oh, I don't think so. The little trademark thing's in the corner, and that might be it for this week. And that's it. I got to tell you, that felt a little bit like an old NXT. It felt a little bit like an old NXT because there wasn't really like much of a lull. The show just from start to finish was pretty not spectacular, solid. But there was some really good matches in there. So the matches delivered. There wasn't really any big surprises. We did get the debut of Shirai. So if you took that show and just took it down to an hour, that would feel very much like an old NXT. There was nothing that was like that bad in there. Nothing that spectacular. Main event was, I don't know, main event was Kyle O'Reilly against Cameron Grimes. I mean, it's not setting the world on fire, but it's all part of, story and whatever. I don't know. It was all right. That was all right. Get in your scores. Troy Knight says 8. Sonny says 8. Big Boy Dally says 775. Brony says 725. LB said what happened last night. The Wi-Fi went down in the area, so there was nothing we could do. But it came back today, so yeah, we've been fine. JJB Gaming says 6. Rick E245 says 6.25. I feel like they're trying to build up some new stars at the moment, says Robin813. Which would make sense, wouldn't it? Because, like, that would make sense. For the past few weeks, they've been going up against AEW, which means they've had to kind of hotshot things a little. I mean, if you think in the past few weeks, there's always been title matches. Next week, join us, tag titles on the line, women's title on the line, NXT championship on the line, number one contenders match, all this kind of stuff. We didn't really get any of that this week. There wasn't any of that. Granted, the Cruiserweight title was on the line in an open challenge, but I don't know. It felt a bit more like an old school NXT to me, this did. And that is no bad thing. 7.5. 8 says Johnny Gardner. 7 says Jordan. Laurie said, I expected more from that last match. Hayden says 7. Austin says 7. I'm going to give this a 7. I'm going to give this a 7. I'm going to agree with people in the chat. And I'm going to go with a 7. I think that I could go 7.25. I was debating 7.25, but Austin's gone 7 as well. So Austin once again copying my score. Obviously Austin was rumbled a few weeks ago for doing that, and looks like he's doing it again. Austin's got very much a sickness, I think it is, at doing this. So disappointing to see that he's copied me once again, but 7 out of 10. I think that's quite fair. Hayden says yay. But Spark says 8.25. Jennifer Lockhart, shout out to you. I hope you are well. Sorry, I didn't see you as around. Austin says, you sent the score first. I copied you like always. I know. Everyone knows at this point it's not even a secret. So yeah, I'm gonna say I was torn between 7 and a 7.25. So if you're at 7.25, I could go to that. Buy or sell. What match was better, Volta versus Bates or Zayn versus Nakamura? Well, Nakamura was coming in with such fanfare that really does make that very special. I think Volta Bate is a better match, but I think Volta Bate is a better match. Zayn Nakamura is a bigger spectacle. And match-wise, it's not far behind at all, if at all. But I think that Volta versus Tyler Bate is really special. But yeah, the Nakamura debut is huge. It's got that big fight feel. Kind of feels like Sasha against Bayley. It's a huge match. Fans are, so excited, so into it. I don't know that Volta Bate was quite like that. So, yeah, very hard to say. Wrestling-wise, Volta Bate. Spectacle, sports entertainment-wise, Sami Zayn Nakamura. Does anyone want a Mad Max prequel? I've never really got into the Mad Max film, so I can't say. But I'm sure someone will answer you. Are there any Mad Max fans out there? Does anyone want to join Jim in starting a petition to get a prequel? 7 out of 10 says William. Yeah, William copying me as well, just like Austin. Awful. What was your match of the night? I'd probably go with the Saray Zoe Stark match, but I gotta say that Kushida match was excellent. They're both very, very close. Very, very close. Very solid show, this. Volta versus Bate is the best match ever, in my opinion, says Jake Holden. William is copying me, says Austin. I'm sure he's not. I think Williams got his in first. 8 out of 10 for me, says David Connolly. Well, do you know what? I'm probably gonna go to 7.25. Actually, I don't like the fact that I've been copied. So I was toying between the two anyway. So I'll go 7.25. I'll go 7.25. Alexander said so. They're doing a feud of some sort between Grimes and DiBiase. I do like that. I do. Yeah. Apparently they are going to bring him in. NBA video says go to 7.25. Well, I've done it. I will not have people copying me. So I've increased it. Ezra the Goated King says, oh, look at all these 7.25s now. Oh, look at this. Oh, now Austin's gone. I've gone. Oh, my God. Oh, do you know what? This community, it was better when I was down. It was better last night when I wasn't streaming. Honestly. Appalling. Absolutely appalling. William said, who's Mad Max? Well, I can tell you who Mad Days is. This guy right here, for the way that I'm treated on these streams. Right, friends, we are done. I'm going to go before I get copied anymore. Appreciate the support as always. As we said, not a bad little show. Pretty solid outing for NXT, and we'll see what AEW has got in store for us tomorrow. Awesome. Have a great evening, and I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.